get me out of this place. Yeah, I'm a man with no answers. Yeah, man with nothing to lose. If the devil takes my soul, then God help you. Yeah, I'm a man with no answers. Yeah, man with nothing to lose. If the devil takes my soul, then darling, may God help you. Yeah, I'm a man with no answers. Yeah, man with nothing to lose. If the devil takes my soul, then God help you. Yeah, I'm a man with no answers. Yeah, man with nothing to lose. If the devil takes my soul, then darling, may God help you.
Coming to you from the award-winning Final Third Cigar and Whiskey Lounge, PCA's 2024 Best of Leaf Midwest Cigar Bar, Indiana's exclusive Aladino Cigar Lounge. It's the Final Third Podcast.
Welcome back to another Final Third podcast live at Final Third today. I'm Rob.
I'm Will.
I'm Scott.
I'm Heine.
And today we're going to be tasting through some world whiskeys as opposed to just straight bourbon. We're doing some Japanese whiskeys and some single malts.
We're men of the world.
We're men of the world.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're not,
something like that.
We're not exclusive to the United States.
No,
Gotta mix
whiskey's
it up.
good.
Yeah.
We
We're
don't
not
know.
those
man.
uncultured swine.
Oh, look who it is.
Hey, look,
oh,
it's-
look, he's here for 5 seconds, and then he's going to leave us.
bailing.
He's too
Nice.
important for us now.
Adios.
He's too important, yeah. He took the Will breeding approach of becoming too good for us.
he's-
Right, that's
Yeah.
it.
Big shot
That's
now.
it. Before you know it, he's going to be. Oh, didn't he become some sort of Kentucky colonel or something like that? I mean,
I have to
that's
call
yes,
him
he did.
Colonel.
yeah, exactly. He's going to be. Before you know it, he'll be the next ascot. Jeez,
Or just an ass.
just an ass.
You got to earn the ascot. Everybody's an ass to start.
Exactly, yes.
Well,
Well, we're going to start off with a little bit lighter cigar than we typically do. We're going to be smoking the Leaf by Oscar, Connecticut. Just a classic Connecticut. It's not going to blow you away in any way, but it's just a classic Connecticut that's smooth every time.
Can we talk about the most important thing with this cigar?
Go right
How the
ahead.
hell do I open this? Okay, so what am I doing here?
Just take that
because
leaf
I've
off
never
the outside.
actually, smoked one of these. Josh Prine, this is one of his favorite cigars.
I'll tell you, the easiest way usually is just like to pop the cap off of that leaf
Right.
and then just slide the cigar out
Oh,
if it
slide
will
it
allow
out.
you to. But then you can
Okay.
do it like Will just did, where you unwrap it. Either way, that leaf is just for looks to
Yeah, I mean,
stand
the
out on the
first time-
shelf.
I mean, it's cool.
First time I saw this cigar, I'm like, how the hell are you supposed to smoke
Yeah,
this thing?
right.
Like, what is this?
I will say,
If I try and light it, it's gonna like go up in flames.
I've had people try that and we're like, no.
Wait.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you're unwrapping this and you're trying to get access to it or whatever, you've got to pull this leaf off the outside before you really go at
So,
it.
Yes.
I have a question about that. Is that
Yeah.
more of a presentation?
I think
thing?
so.
Does it do anything
Well, I mean,
special to
they,
the cigar?
They
or-
do claim that it helps age a little bit more, which I get. Your tobacco on tobacco probably does maybe a little bit, but I think more of it stands out on the shelf.
Okay.
When you walk into a humidor, you see them immediately.
Do you have any concerns here about like
Eco-friendly.
like
Us
if we go
setting
to
this on
ash
fire
this?
when
Are
we
we
go
going
to
to set
ash.
this on fire?
I guess we'll find out.
We're gonna. I mean, by the way, on the intro for those that joined us, in the countdown and everything, we're working on that. It's a bandwidth thing or something, and
Oh,
it's,
yeah.
it's all jittery. But,
Yeah, it'll come around.
Yeah, we'll get there.
You know, one of these days, Mike will come back and help us.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But it's just going to be more technical issues if we happen to set the table on fire.
Yeah. But it's inside the bowl. It'll be fine.
The show will go on.
The show will go on. That's right. Yeah.
So the
We're here
cold
for you, the people.
the cold draw on this is nice. It's kind of
Yeah.
like a, it's raisin bran without the raisins. It's just kind of the brand.
Yeah, it is the brand. You're right. That's a good call. Yeah, it's a really good call. And we are going to finish off here a little bit later with the ozgener Aramis, which we
Say that
smoked
5 times fast.
Ozgener Aramis. There you go, got it. But that was one of our, when they first came out, that was one of our cigars of the year that year, just because it was so good and rich. So I'm excited to get back and try that again.
I'm a hot mess today, man. I don't have a cutter. I don't have a lighter.
Here, we got you.
I got it all. I mean, I got it handed to me, but yeah, I don't know. I'm just. I guess I need a drink. That's what
Yeah,
I need.
okay, let's get that going, and I'll
Yeah.
light. So
Yeah.
we'll start off. We have a couple of them that we have here at the bar. This one's the Kamakitaki single malt Japanese whiskey, coming in at 96 proof. This one just it's just a really good presentation. Both of these are actually, and I've not had that one, but these two that we're coming up to next are both Ichiros. This one is the Kamakitaki. So
So let's talk real quick as you're pouring
Yes.
about what it means for malts, because this is interesting that this is now recognized as an American category by the TTB.
Right.
That was announced about a month ago, and malt deals with malted barley, right? That's what we're talking about when we say malts, and you hear the term single malts and blends, right? The idea of a single distillery or some distilleries buy malts that are already distilled from various companies and blend them together. Now, this malt thing, this isn't restricted to one country. This isn't just Scotch, right? Scotch is Scotch.
yes,
And it has to be from Scotland.
Has to be from Scotland.
But malt just means malted barley.
Correct.
So American malt, Scotch being Scottish malt, right? You've got Indian malts, Japanese malts.
So the actual grain itself, the malted barley, is actually imported from Scotland to Japan. So they don't normally do their own malting process on the actual
Nice.
grain there. It's all coming from Scotland.
okay.
But their fermentation, their distillation techniques are completely different than Scottish style. And there's some reasons behind that. Probably the biggest reason is, if you're thinking about Scotland, you've got hundreds of distilleries, and they swap their distillate back and forth quite a bit when they're doing their blending.
Mm-hmm.
Japan doesn't have that. I mean, there's like maybe 10 distilleries in all of Japan, so they don't have the means to do that. So in that case, they're actually making all the variants of all their distillate in-house. So they're changing their yeast strains. They may have 5 or 6 different yeast strains they're using to get a different process. And if you look at all of their stills, they're not all pot stills. Some are pot, some are column, some are hybrid. It's like a hodgepodge of stills that they're using to get different flavor profiles out of their whiskey that then blend together. So they're kind of doing it all in-house themselves rather than the Scottish technique where they would be taking distillate, borrowing it from other locations for their blends.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
I always find like Japanese. So when I think of Scotch, it's a really variable product, right? Depending on there's regions, and those regions kind of tend to dictate in some ways what's going to be made from a Scottish perspective. So you're going to have things that are very peat forward, things that are very fruity, but they can be wildly different, right?
Yeah.
And there's nothing really typically subtle about Scotch. It's
Yeah.
like when you're going from one to the other. It's not to say it's not complex. It is complex when you're drinking each individual one.
Mm-hmm.
But you're not trying to figure out, like, as much as we've talked lately about like blinding stuff for bourbons and just knowing the difference between the big six. Doing that in the Scotch world really isn't all that difficult because they're different.
Yeah.
They're very different.
Yeah, but when
really
it
are.
comes to the Japanese, I feel like they almost take a bourbon-esque approach to their single malt, right?
They
Because it's very
definitely-
subtle.
They
differences.
definitely craft their whiskey for their palate.
Yes.
Their palate does not like very aggressive, harsh, robust notes. They want a more delicate, balanced whiskey.
Yeah.
And so you'll get a lot of, you could call it lighter notes. I don't know if that's necessarily accurate, but it's definitely a more balanced product than you'll get from some of the pot still single malts.
Yeah, like Irish. And,
yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
the Irish, I mean, I feel like that's what Irish is actually going for, that kind of green apple thing in their whiskeys. I mean, it just kind of, that's natural. This has that kind of a light green apple, but honestly, I'm getting more apricot probably than any of the green apple in this one. Which
I always get
is really
peach
nice.
blossom.
Peach
got it.
blossom,
Almost
that's a good
always.
call.
You took the words
Good
out
call,
of my mouth.
good
Yeah.
call.
Yeah. That's
just-
a great note. Yeah.
It's what I almost always get. There's
Mm-hmm.
there's great little hints of some like sun-kissed orange sweetness to
Citrusy,
it.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a little bit of citrusy. You're going to get lots of different kind of floral notes.
Yeah, it's almost like a tangerine peel.
Right, exactly. Yeah,
That's
you might
nice.
get like
That's nice.
hibiscus. You
It's
can
this
get yeah.
delicate peach note, and then as you drink it, you get this like nice little warming sensation that you don't expect to get from it.
Right, because
Right.
it's
Yeah.
so
'Cause
it's
it's only
so
90,
delicate.
yeah.
Yeah. I've found Japanese malts to be exceptional products, but you know it's kind of funny. You got to almost be in a mindset to drink them because they're just so soft.
Yeah.
I don't even know that I like the word approachable in this because it's like Japanese malts are just they're approachable or smooth kind of by
Right.
default. Like you're not gonna ever drink a Japanese malt and go, oh man, that one's pretty solid, right? That's heavy.
And I
Yeah.
think another thing you'll note in the Japanese whiskeys is that you don't get a lot of the cereal grain notes. You're not going to get a grainy kind of grain forward
Right.
note on
Yeah.
these. They purposely don't want that flavor profile in their whiskey.
Yeah.
And you rarely will see it.
Yeah.
So
You definitely get the softness from the malted barley, that little bit of a creaminess in there too. Definitely is not a drying whiskey at all. It's very mouth-watering.
No, and a decent finish too for
Very
you know,
good finish. Yeah.
The mouthfeel
for
is just
it lasts quite a while.
yeah. It's I always love the mouthfeel on Japanese malts. Now, do they age statement theirs?
That was my next
that
question.
one I
ahead
don't
and look and
think
see.
they do.
Yeah, I don't. I
Some of them they do, absolutely, but I don't know about that one.
yeah, I didn't think they did a lot of them.
That's the one thing that these two, I can't remember the price on them, but they were not inexpensive bottles. And a lot of the good Japanese whiskey is not going to be cheap, but it's
And-
good.
A lot of Japanese culture, they actually drink their whiskey not neat often, but with ice and water. So I brought a medicine dropper, some water, if you wanted to put a couple drops in just to see if it changed.
Yeah, I'll
because
definitely.
They definitely
shot.
do that. They don't typically drink it neat. I don't think.
Yeah. Well, an update. Denver is now up 7-0 on Buffalo.
And 2 drops of water brightens this up, in my opinion, quite a
I went
bit.
with 3. Just I don't know because I had to overdo it. I guess. We'll see.
Well, it looks like you have a little bit more in your glass than he had anyway, so that might have been
What?
fine. I know.
I don't drink that much.
I know you don't.
Of course you don't.
We all know that's not true.
And it's working well with this cigar.
Yeah, it really is.
Really can't. I mean, you wouldn't want to go much heavier than something like
I kind
this.
of forgot how good this cigar is.
It is good.
It is really good.
Yeah, Josh, you might be onto something here.
Smoking well.
So the Mars, come on, the 2023s, which I think that's what this one was. No, that's 2020.
2021. Yeah.
Looks like it says 3+ years.
Interesting.
Okay. Which, look at the color.
Yeah, I was gonna say for the lighter color.
Yeah. Which I don't think they do. Do they? Does Japanese do charred barrels or not?
They do a combination of used bourbon barrels, used sherry barrels.
Okay.
Typically follow Scotch.
Okay.
kinda
Now they
tradition.
also do you know, because I don't think there's any standard for malt on what your distillate max proof is, because like Irish goes to almost neutral grain spirit.
Yeah.
Right, they're really relying on the barrel more than the grain to bring anything.
There
to
are
the-
some rules for Japanese whiskey. They're not great, and I wanted to look at them before I came in. I forgot to take a peek at them, but there are some rules. But it's definitely not as restrictive as bourbon or rye whiskey or things like that.
Because it feels like you couldn't get this product out of 3 years, something this subtle, without taking a little bit more out of it during the distillation process. Right. You're going to have to be a bit more aggressive on, maybe a double distill or triple distill, and then maybe
So-
it's at 170 proof or something.
They will use charred Mizunara, which is obviously the Japanese version of oak. So they will use a new charred Mizunara barrel. The issue with the Mizunara barrel on a first fill, though, is that it takes a long time for it to have any impact on the whiskey. So if you have, a 6-year aged whiskey and new Mizunara, it's not going to do a lot. You kind of needed to go 15, 18. You need that longer age on Mizunara. Now, once you've had an aged Mizunara barrel, and then you go and refill it with bourbon and do like a finished whiskey with it, you get some great flavors out of it. But
Yeah.
new Mizunara takes some time for
Yeah.
it to have an effect on the
Well, and I just
whiskey.
looked it up here. So the rules to be labeled Japanese whiskey are: the ingredients must contain malted grain such as barley, wheat, or rye, or other cereal grains. Production has to be fermented, distilled, and aged in Japan at a distillery. Water can be made with water extracted in Japan, obviously, yeah. Distillation be distilled in less than 95% ABV. So
That's pretty high. That's
pretty-
neutral
that's-
grain
that's almost
spirit.
neutral.
distill it
Yeah,
up to
it's basically-
190. Yeah.
yeah, that's NGS, right? Neutral grain
Aging,
spirit.
it says be aged in wooden casks in Japan, so they don't have any rules,
Right.
but for at least 3 years. Be bottled in Japan with a minimum strength of 40% ABV, so 80 proof.
Okay.
Coloring, they can add plain caramel coloring if they want to.
Yeah, they can't add color.
So that's kind of like Canadian
So to
whiskey, same
compare,
thing.
bourbon can't be distilled above 165 and has to go in the barrel at 125.
Correct.
Right.
So you're talking about 165 to 190,
Mm-hmm.
or that's a huge number difference, and you're talking about stripping out a lot of the grain.
You named
right?
it. You're going to have a very clean spirit going into the barrel.
It's vodka.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it really is. It's vodka with a little extra something, right? If you're going that high. Now that's not to say that they all go that high. That's just the rules, right? That you can't go any higher than 190 proof. So it's always interesting, like some of these distilleries. Well, when Mike and I were down at Michter's, they don't tell you their mash,
Yeah.
right? Which I was like, really? You don't?
Yeah.
You're not like you don't. Who cares?
Yeah.
Right.
Like it's interesting information, but that's not really like. There's so
You're
many
not gonna
parts to your
recreate it.
process,
Yeah.
and I'm not going to be able to go out and like make Michter's. So what's the big secret here?
Yeah.
Now I could understand in some of the Japanese stuff or some of these single malts, yeah, there might be some things there that, like, what is our target distilling proof, right? And that can make a pretty big difference, because how much you leaving into the original grain,
Yeah.
and how much is that impacting your flavor, and how long do you have to go aging, and are you doing it different for different products, right? Are you targeting some to go a 10 or 12 or 15 or 20-year product versus a 3-year product?
Right.
And that could change a lot of that. So I can understand keeping some of that secret.
The not Four Roses, the Angel's Envy Triple Oak.
Triple oaked.
Is that a Mizunara finish too, or not? Or is it Hungarian? It's
I
Hungarian.
think it's Hungarian. I don't
Okay,
think it's
I don't think it was Mizunara.
I'd have
but
to look at the bottle and
I,
give it
you know,
up.
Mizunara, the cool thing is the grains, or the wood grain is so tight, right? So you just don't get a lot of penetration. It takes a long time for it to happen.
Well, considering the Japanese don't typically do things like overly aggressive, are they going light chars?
Yeah,
are
a
they
lot of times they're toasts.
just
Yeah,
toasts,
yeah,
not
no
even
heavy
chars?
on these
So they're
versions.
not creating that alligator look to where it really opens up and allows you to get in there. So that definitely adds to the
Yeah,
time
there's
as well.
there's no caramel, there's no vanilla.
No.
You're not
No,
getting
it's
that
all
out of
fruit
this.
and flowers and herbs and I don't know. Could be maybe some hints of like fresh grass, you know, something like that.
Yeah,
Wildflower
just
fields.
fresh outdoors. Yeah.
Yeah.
On a sunny meadow full of flowers. You know, that's what I think of.
Aw.
That's so cute.
Yeah,
That is so
Calm
cute.
me down. The sweet sounds of Will Breeden's meadow.
Will lying under this Japanese cherry blossom
I need to
tree.
watch more football. All right.
You just need to lay out in a meadow with no shirt and an ascot on. It'll be great.
He's out there raking his sheep
And then
garden.
call the police.
Call the police. This is actually really good. I like this. It's been a minute since I went back to Japanese, and this is good.
Yeah, it's making me think I'm going to want to do this again. You know, but I
Yeah.
want to really, if I want to go with a lighter cigar, and I don't want a bourbon that's going to overpower a lighter cigar, this is perfect.
I could easily see drinking this on like Sunday morning
Well, yeah. I was
during
gonna
the summer. You
say- I
know,
was
if
gonna
you
say summer.
if you wake up real early, you know, a little bit of fog, a little bit of dew out there.
Your
you're
6
up at-
a.m. bourbon
Yeah,
or
exactly. Your
whiskey.
6 a.m. whiskey on
Breakfast
Sunday.
bourbon. Your breakfast whiskey.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, we've
It'd
been
work.
talking about this quite a bit. You know, you kind of get yourself pigeonholed into drinking high proof bourbons when you're into it. It's nice to go back and try different ones. Like I think we need to do a Scotch show sometime, probably do an Irish show, or do them together, whatever. But I think it'd be kind of fun to go back and
Yeah.
just explore what's around the world. I mean, when we first opened up, we had an Indian from India, obviously not Indian.
Not Native American.
Not Native American. Thank you.
Yeah, as they say in the movie,
yeah.
dot not feather.
Thank you. Thank you.
That was a quote.
think
That's-
that's
That was a movie quote. I did not
Yes.
come up with that.
No,
but
no.
Final
somebody.
third cigar and whiskey. Do not.
yes.
It was actually kind of unique. It reminded me a little bit of Japanese, but it was a little more on
Good
the
Will
grain
Hunting, I
side.
think. Yeah.
So you could taste the grain more in it, more than the fruit, which was kind of
Yeah.
interesting. But it made sense for Indian food. That's probably what you'd want.
Yeah.
So
Oh man.
So, the cool thing too, like if you think about Japanese, the Japanese whiskey industry, their first distillery wasn't even built until 1923. So, you know, relatively new compared to bourbon or Scotch.
What year did you say?
1923.
23,
yeah.
man.
So, and again, that was Tori, who started Suntory, Beam Suntory, and the is it Yamazaki? Is it the Yamazaki distillery?
I almost said, you talking about the Ichiros? Or
No, not Ichiro,
Oh,
but
okay.
Suntory. Yeah, it's
Suntory.
Yamazaki. Yeah.
I would have obviously done my homework to know what all 10 of the Japanese distilleries are that
Yeah.
are in existence, but I didn't even know we were doing this today. So.
it's all good.
Yeah.
Well, I do have another bottle in the back there that Tara had brought in for New Year's Eve. That's a Suntory.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
So
we
we
should
can grab
definitely
that.
drink her bottle. I mean,
Yeah, well, of course,
yeah, why
yeah.
not?
Thanks, Tara.
Thanks, Tara. Appreciate it.
Shout out to Tara.
Hey, Chloe, can I borrow you for a sec?
We need whiskey. We need more to drink.
Could you go in the back
We've only just got started, but we still need
down
more.
there towards the end where all my stuff is? There's a lower square bottle that I can't remember the name of, but you'll notice it. It's kind of a low bottle. You'll see what it.
Again, our producer's not on the show today,
Yeah.
so we're you know,
We're just rambling on.
we're all over the place.
All right,
Our
so
show
let's-
notes were dog shit. And
So let's jump into the Ichiro's. This is the Malt and Grain World Whiskey, limited edition, and they literally call it out as non-chill filtered and non-colored. So they're trying to let people know we're not coloring our whiskey, which I appreciate.
I will
That's
say
the one. Yeah,
that
thank you.
when you find out, oh, we're going to pour the next one, and you still have too much left in your glass, it's a lot easier to drink this. than
It really
bourbon.
is. Yeah,
That was down really quick.
Yeah, you're like, oh, this is fine. This is all good.
Yeah, I forgot about that one being a Japanese whiskey she brought in. I don't know if she wants it back or not, but I guess we'll go ahead and drink some more. Thanks, Tara.
So what's the proof on this one?
I didn't look at that. Sorry.
Let's see.
My eyes are getting really bad.
It's because you're getting old, Rob.
Dude, I'll tell you, the last few weeks has been really getting bad. I think I've got I used to have a cataract in my right eye, and they replaced the lens. I've got one in my left eye now, and it's getting fuzzy. I'm like, oh,
I can hardly see this. I think it's 87, 83.
Wow.
I don't
it's
know.
really hard to
And
read
that's
that
with
label.
readers.
No, the scary thing is I'm getting to the point where I'm like, I might have to get readers here in the next couple years. I don't know. It sucks.
I literally can see better without my glasses. Huh? I know.
We know.
We're sampling it.
She left it
Tar-
here.
we
That
said-
makes it fair
Tar
game.
said it was,
we
it
said
was fine.
We said thank you. Is that not good
Just to
enough?
know,
Arigato.
if you come after hours to the Final Third Cigar and Whiskey Lounge and participate in some sort of bottle share or something, which happens with our membership program, that will probably be something we do from time to time.
Yeah.
But if you leave your whiskey here, we will drink it.
Yes, we will.
It will get drank. So, just
And good call out on that too. We still have what, 3 weeks?
3 weeks for the membership
left
program.
To get
So
your membership in here, so get in here and get that.
yeah, text or call or email or whatever, message us on anything
Yeah.
to find out the all the details. But even if you think you can only make it in here once a quarter, that's going to be a great opportunity for the membership. Lots of events coming up. I know you're going
Yeah.
to be talking with our good friend Gene over at Harris Hoosier Park.
He's supposed to be coming in this week.
Good. So we'll be discussing what we can get set up over there for the members.
Yeah.
We did record our members only content last week.
Yeah.
Our members only. Wow. Yeah.
Only
Oh,
Only
It has to be called only members.
only members. Yeah.
But we had a couple different. We had
Yeah, we
only
did.
bands. We had only Glens.
Only
Yeah.
Glens. Yes.
Yeah, we found out about Mike's familial situation, which
Yeah.
was entertaining. I mean, I felt like I was on an episode of like Jersey Shore or something. It was
Did I miss that? Was that the one I was not on, or was
no,
that?
that you were here.
Oh, was I? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't remember what I did.
Yeah,
last
it was
night,
his
so.
sister's brother's girlfriend's
Oh, yeah.
boyfriend's
Yeah.
lovers,
Yeah.
something or other.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was, yeah,
subscribers.
that's for members only.
Members only.
Members only. That's right.
Awesome.
I do like the idea of the members only jackets.
Right, exactly. Yeah, yeah. So we'll be actually recording a little bit after the show today.
Okay.
But
All right.
Very cool.
yeah. So
in. I'm
sorry we got sidetracked there, but
Not at all. Not at all.
do we have some interaction online? You guys checking on that chat there and
I have
Yeah,
not.
but we had a shout out from somebody to Rob,
Who?
to Rob.
Tyler
Tyler?
Richardson.
Oh, awesome.
Oh, Tyler's
What's up,
back.
Tyler? How you doing, buddy? Thanks for listening in. Yeah, I met Tyler down in when I believe is where we met. You have to let me know in the chat. I think we met down at the Smoke Pit when I was down there.
New Jersey Mike saying someone else's whiskey is always tastier.
Oh, that's true.
Absolutely.
That's
Amen.
true.
Amen.
Mike.
Absolutely, amen.
Thanks for joining, Mike. Mike
Yep.
wanted to know my thoughts on football today for gambling purposes. So I told him the only way I'm telling you is if you're joining the podcast. So thanks for
Nice.
joining, Mike. And who knows, maybe Tim's out there, a couple of my other boys. So
Nice.
glad you're joining
Hey,
us again.
Another shout out.
Yeah.
And Scott's the one that introduced us to this guy. His name's Woody.
yeah.
He actually showed up at the track and brought a 40 ounce
It was
flask
a liter.
of Woodford.
One
Liter.
liter.
Yeah.
1 liter of Woodford.
He came in here yesterday. He just got married.
No way.
No kidding.
Yep, he just got married.
Oh,
so
Woody,
congratulations, Woody.
Congrats, Woody.
That's awesome,
That was
man.
kind of cool to see.
Yeah, that was so funny that I met him at the track, and he met Janelle.
Yeah.
Like up at the top of the stands, and we're down at the bottom of the stands, and she was waiting up there for something. I don't know, maybe it was a little hot, and she was getting some shade, and says, "Hey, you want a drink?" And she's like, "What is it? Whiskey?" No, but my husband does. And so Woody came down and introduced himself to me, and then found out that he lives literally like 3 blocks from here or something.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I've spent some time talking to him in here, a few different, visits, and super cool guy.
He's a good guy,
Enjoy
yeah.
talking to him.
So he's
Yeah.
retired, but he has one of the world's best
he has
jobs.
a cool job.
He
yeah,
does.
tell him.
He is one of the groundskeepers
yeah.
for the Indianapolis Motor Speedway and the
Not for
Brickyard
the-
Golf Course.
For the golf course, yeah. I
He
don't
does
know
the Speedway as well.
Oh, he does? I thought he
Yes.
just
Yeah.
did the golf
No,
course.
he does. He does inside the Speedway, not just the fairways and
Okay.
all that stuff. He even mows the grounds inside the turns, and yeah, he's got
That's
kind of
cool.
all access, and so he gets his cigars here at Final Third, and then goes out there on the mower and tools around Indianapolis
Speaking
Motor
of the
Speedway.
Speedway, I just saw a reel today. I don't know who it was. Some guy
Snowboarding.
That was Doug Bowles. That's the
Doug,
president.
yeah, it's
Oh,
the
that
president.
was
The
him.
okay. So I've talked to Doug before, and if you ever see him around the track, you can go up to him and
Approachable
just
guy.
completely approachable, and one of the nicest guys, and cares so passionately about the track and about the fans and the sport and as a whole. And he does these segments online where he explores parts of the track, and he actually walked. There used to be 3 different creeks that ran open through the track.
Yeah.
Right, and they just had the track going over them and the stands going over them. There was actually a flood. I think it was like in 1914, something like that, where it was so bad that they thought they would have to cancel the race completely, and they managed to get everything cleaned up in 2 days and run the race. They now have buried all of those.
Right. So
They are
they're
all
underground
completely
creeks.
buried. They're underground creeks.
Yep.
And he got on like all his spelunking gear and went like a half mile through this tunnel, walking through the creek.
That's
with a
crazy.
camera crew and everything.
That's very cool. I'd like to see that video.
Oh yeah, it's good. Yeah,
wild.
yeah.
So I think
Definitely
you're,
follow Doug on all the socials out there.
I think your interaction, well, that was a YouTube short, wasn't it?
No, but we did post a couple pictures because he came and got a picture with us at Iowa Motor Speedway.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I didn't do an interview with him, but he did ask about camping out there because he wanted to know if anybody be interested in camping in IMS in an IMS lot for the entire month of May. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Sign me up.
Can I please get my spot in lot 6?
Yes.
Because I love it out there.
Scott's
You
over
just-
like, did we
Oh, we
just
don't
become
have to
best
move?
friends?
yeah, I'll just live down there. That's fine. I think even Janelle would be like, yeah, okay, that's fine. She can run home whenever she needs to. It's
Right.
40 minutes away, and yeah, I'd definitely be down
cool.
there. Yeah,
I bet that would be would be very popular.
He's a hell of a snowboarder. I'll give him that.
Yes.
You can snowboard the speedway. You can snowboard, you know.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, he's getting pulled behind one of the safety trucks.
Yeah, I didn't see what he was getting pulled behind, but I assumed it was one of those. So,
Yep.
So what are you guys' thoughts on this whiskey?
I have not tasted it yet.
So
It's lighter.
It's I feel like it's also it's a little less fruity than the first one, but it's a little bit more
almost more
malty,
yes,
maybe a little more floral. Yeah,
At least on the nose, it's more floral than fruit.
I think this one actually
it's
can.
not as fruit forward.
I think you can get a hint of the barley,
Yeah.
Yeah,
you can.
which is not very common for Japanese
Right.
Yeah.
malts. That doesn't come through very much. So
it hits my palate different. Like
Yeah.
on the back mid palate, it just kind of drops down more. So, you know, I will not that it's oily, but it's a little oilier, a
Little more
different
viscous,
mouthfeel
more viscous. Yeah.
than what the previous, you know.
Yeah,
one.
and the thing is, I think I like this one just a little bit more, but but the flavor on the first one was a little bit more pronounced. If that makes sense.
I think the first
was
one
a
was
little
more complex.
Complex.
It was
yeah.
more complex. This
Yeah.
one kind of hits me in a different way that I like, and I don't know why, but I just like the way it kind of fits, and it plays well with this cigar. I
Yes.
think that's probably most of it.
Well, both
Yeah.
of them have so far.
They have so
honestly.
far,
I
yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
I love it when they pair well, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's we've had some times when things just you're like, that was a miss, you know, and it happens.
Swing and a miss.
Well, I'll tell you, man. When,
Just a
when
bit
Isaiah and I
outside.
first started this, we
Shout
were
out
we were
Joker.
doing a coffee pairing. We had the coffee out here. We're like, oh, this will be great with this cigar. And we got the cigar out. We tried it. We're like, we got to start over. That was terrible.
You restarted the whole show.
We restarted the whole show because it was just the coffee was that bad.
Oh man,
Or
wouldn't it-
we don't know if we
that's a
restarted
forgotten
it.
episode we should find.
I don't know if we restarted the show or if we just kind of said, oh, we got to get that. We
Welcome to the
grabbed some-
Final Third Cigar Podcast. This sucks.
This sucks.
Take
Move
two.
on. Wait, this is not whiskey. It can't be good.
Yeah, I'm like, every time I smoke a cigar with coffee, it's just got to be there. I know the ones for me that I like. You know?
Yeah.
And it's just, I don't play around with that a whole lot. I've got one or two that I'll do.
Well,
You know,
the Espinosa Crema,
the crema,
Yep.
the Metropolitan Host,
Yep.
is mine. I know it's not for everybody, but actually Bother's been
The Blood Medicine.
smoking that.
The Blood Medicine was great.
great. The Shade to Black, Connecticut, really
Yeah.
good.
I was actually surprised that Mike started smoking that Metropolitan.
Metropolitan.
Oh,
yeah.
really? Okay.
Yeah.
The nice thing about the Metropolitan is, I mean, it's your first couple puffs, you get the sweetness, but once it's gone, it's
gone.
gone. It's just
Yeah.
a good Connecticut. It's a lot like this Connecticut, honestly. Maybe
Yeah.
a little bit lighter, but
I think it's
maybe a
lighter
little-
flavor, but I
maybe
think the
little
smoke's a little creamier.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, which is good, and that's probably what that molasses kind of does to
Well, I
it.
like
Just
that
make it a
the
little creamier.
molasses is more on your lips than it is in the actual cigar.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah,
You
it
don't
really
get
isn't on the
You don't get it
smoke.
every single draw.
Right.
You just get it on the as a taste.
Okay. I've got to try it. I haven't tried it.
You
Yeah.
still have
No,
not?
I
You
haven't.
st-
I
man,
haven't.
what in the
Well, I
world?
told you I got my go-to.
But I do feel like for me, it's probably the crema or the. I do love the Cameroon from Aladino
Yeah.
too.
That's a great
really
one,
good with
yeah.
coffee.
Yeah.
Especially if you got a coffee that's a dark, black coffee that's got a little bit of the fruit notes in it. It works great with the Cameroon.
All right, some of my guys here, New Jersey Mike and Tim. I don't know if he's on the podcast, but some of my guys here texted me, and they're like, we got to make a trip out to the lounge to watch this podcast live. So
Yes.
you guys are always welcome.
Yes,
of course.
We need someone to give us some banter, and
It's only 10 hours for New Jersey Mike to get out here.
that seems legit.
I know.
That means
Yeah.
he starts the day before.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Exactly. And Tim's in Cleveland, and a couple of the other guys are in Columbus, and
I mean, come on. Why would you not want to come
yeah.
out for this?
Then my boy Rob, but he's probably not watching because, well, he's up by now, but he lives in Phoenix, I think. He
Oh.
just moved from
that's-
Seattle. So.
No problem. Everybody
somewhere
should
up in
just
that
show up.
So
Yes.
Exactly.
Tyler just put in the chat that the April 1st will be the grand opening of the old Homestead Distillery.
Yes.
So
yeah.
that's us, obviously, our friend Alan
Hell yeah.
Bishop.
Yeah.
So we're
so
excited
hey,
for him.
so Tyler, if you wouldn't mind commenting in the comments here, let us know. Are you a part? Yeah, I'm sorry. Wrong camera.
That one over there is the
That one
live
over
one.
there.
Let us know because I think he's actually a part of helping Alan out now. I don't know if he's employed there or not, but I know he's been over there quite a bit. So let us know what your role is with Old Homestead, or if you're just geeking out like we do with Alan Bishop. So
But that's exciting.
I'm
I
so
know he's
excited.
ready to get rolling with
we
it.
need to make a trip down before they open, or maybe right after they open too. Maybe we go down there for their opening week and
Yeah,
hang
but I
out
want to
with
go
Alan.
down when it's hot and we
I
can go
know.
motorboating.
Yes.
Yeah, that'd be
We
fun.
can do motorboat
Yeah.
any time of the night, baby.
I want some poontang on the pontoon. Oh, big shout out, by the way. I know he doesn't watch, he doesn't care, he doesn't know who we are, but Alabama Big Earl from Floribama, he just performed his last show with the Sexual Biscuits in what is called the Dome Room. That's the official name at Floribama. The unofficial name is the Bra Room, because there's always about 200 to 400 bras hanging up
Hanging up on the top.
on wires going through there.
Well, I'm sure Lisa's going to be sad about that.
Yes, very disappointed.
Yeah, she's disappointed.
If you happen to find yourself down in the Orange Beach area, Janelle and I are pretty sure we're not going, but we have strongly considered it. Going next weekend. Their final shows, they're in the big stage. Taking the big stage for the last 2 nights, Friday and Saturday.
There you
and
go.
Yeah. So you can catch great songs like Poontang on the Pontoon and I F'd My Sister and
Something about
Just
dolphin.
the classics.
oh yeah, the Dolphins,
F out of the
A
left
B.
lane.
No, get the F out of the left lane. yeah, classics from Alabama Big Earl and the Sexual Biscuits.
Yeah.
Sexual biscuits.
Yeah, but just one of my
love it.
favorite groups. He'll still be performing on Tuesdays up in the main room doing solo and maybe
Oh, is
bringing
he?
up a friend
Okay.
occasionally. But yeah, he's done with the band. The weekends were enough. He's
We'll get Mike to hashtag him in it.
absolutely
subscribe.
Yep. Well, I'll shoot a note to him and just say, hey man, we talked about you on the podcast. Wanted to give you best wishes. So
Yeah.
Tyler
that's
piped
cool.
back in that he's still the hand assistant distiller.
Gotcha. Okay.
what is he? The head assistant
It
distiller?
says hand assistant.
Hand assistant. Oh, okay.
Awesome.
So he
I was
is
about ready to
No,
say
that's wrong.
head.
It's not my fault, 'cause that's
head
what he typed.
assistant. Oh, no, hand
It
assistant is
says
probably
hand
like
slash assistant.
So that means
Okay.
Alan yells at you a lot.
yes.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, hey Tyler, go over there and shovel that crap off of there. All that malted, all the malted sunflower seeds on the
just
floor,
kidding,
pick them
Tyler.
up. Oh no, he probably understands. That's exactly what he does.
Stop eating the product.
Alan runs around that distillery like a damn pirate. you
Oh,
know?
God.
If he had a sword, he'd be slashing it.
I liked his video he posted here after the snow. He's like, yeah. Sometimes when you're at a small distillery doing everything, you do this. He's out there shoveling snow from his door so he can get inside. It's like,
So
It's a lot of work.
that was really good. I'm telling you, man, the second third of this cigar is really transitioning.
It is.
It's opening up. It's getting really great flavor off of it. I mean, I was like, wow. And this
Well-
being a Connecticut, you know, I was a little worried. We've seen some issues with humidity changes with Connecticut's. We talked
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
can sometimes be susceptible to cracking or splitting. This thing is smoking perfect.
yeah.
Well, I noticed
Well,
that leaf on the outside cracked and split a lot, but it
Yeah.
makes me
the
wonder if
wrapper-
that's what
Is that
takes
helping
the
it? Yeah.
takes the heat, yeah. Well, I will say also on this cigar, don't do like I did. I ended up grabbing and peeling off the band,
Band and
which
snap
then
it.
grabbed the wrapper and I cracked a little bit.
But
you
if you
guys
look at
have
your
it, it's
burn
working,
ring,
but it's still
it's
burning
still
perfectly.
solid.
Yeah.
You're not venting
And
or anything
that's
crazy.
another good thing too for when you're smoking in the winter. Even if you're smoking Maduros or whatever, but especially Connecticut's, there's kind of a nice little trick to cutting your cigars because a lot of people crack their cigars, especially Connecticut's in the winter, especially if you're smoking outside in the cold. Just when you get your cutter up there, just kind of barely pinch it a little bit and then just kind of twist it to give a little cut before you give it the cut. That way it doesn't actually pinch the wrapper through. And also, if your cutter's a little bit dull, you can give that little bit of a cut there, and all of a sudden, then you're just popping off that cap, and you're not actually splitting down the
clean
side.
area.
That's a great tip.
I do that pretty much all the time anymore, especially on Padrones, because Padrones have a tiny little cap on them anyway.
I say, wasn't it Jeremy from McAuliffe that doesn't even cut it? He just peels the cap off
Yeah,
the top.
he does, yeah.
So that it doesn't bother.
Well, yeah, didn't you say
Yeah.
that a lot of the Central Americans, they keep like their pinky
just
nail
a
just
little
long
long.
so
Yeah.
that they can
Yep.
just peel that off?
Yeah, I
was
don't- I
taught
don't
how
think
to
that's
do
for
that. I can do it with
cigars.
my nail.
Yeah,
It's easy. Yeah.
it's a good way to do it. And
At
actually,
least not in Colombia. It's
well,
not
if
for
you-
cigars.
Yeah, well,
If you talk to Hector, the master blender for Espinosa, he calls guys a bunch of pussies because they actually use a cutter.
Yeah.
He's like, you don't need a cutter, just use your freaking finger. I'm like, all right,
cool.
whatever.
All right.
So I do it
The
when
old
he's here, but
Westerns,
then
you
I
just
cut it
bite the
whenever
tip
he's
off.
not.
I guess I'll just,
Bro, note to self. Yeah.
Yeah. Now I don't recommend biting them. I know some people bite them off, but man, all I do I've done that once, and it's like tobacco explodes in your mouth, and it's like, ugh.
Yeah.
Kind of ruins the experience for me.
yeah, I like it a little cleaner than this.
So I think I need another pour. So,
Yeah, we should
yeah,
probably
I'm
continue
gonna,
drinking.
I
So
think we
I
should-
did add a couple drops of water.
Yeah.
And it just made it smoother.
Hey, why don't we hear from a sponsor
I
real
was just
quick?
getting ready to say,
yeah,
while
let's
we're
get a
sitting here getting
sponsor.
ready
We'll
to
be
go.
right back.
All right.
Final Third Cigar is Indiana's exclusive Aladino Cigar Lounge. Come to Final Third for a selection of over 20 different Aladino cigars, including the Cameroon, a wonderful cigar with nice light flavors. Make sure and visit Final Third, the Aladino exclusive cigar lounge for Indiana. And
All
we're
right.
back.
All right. We're
No more of my
all right.
dulcet
So
tones.
do we want to hold off on the Ichiro's bottle you have and do this one first?
I don't know. Do we know anything about
I
Taurus?
don't. Let's
Like-
just do this one first.
Yeah, okay.
It's already
Let's
here and
find
it's
out.
already
This
open.
is
so-
Tara's.
Let's do the mystery bottle.
So this is Royal Centauri whiskey. It is impossible to read.
Is it all in
Oh,
Japanese?
it's in this is all in Japanese. So this is actually
Oh, goodness.
Google Translate.
good luck.
Tara, thanks for your donation. It was so kind of you.
Yeah.
To,
Oh, yeah. This is good
we
luck.
can't
Yeah,
read
it.
anything.
Read it, Will. Come on.
Yep.
Don't you have to be able to read Japanese to
Well,
be a
we
master?
will know. We will, I guess, get to guess what we
So
think
this
the
one
proof
must have
is.
actually come directly from Japan, not imported.
I'm
It must have been
curious. Maybe it
hand
did.
carried on a
You
plane.
have Google goggles on your phone.
Google goggles.
No, it's an
700
app.
ml.
and
Oh,
you
the
can-
app. Okay.
Yeah.
You
yeah.
actually look at it with your camera, and it'll translate it.
Just a little bit. Thank you.
Splash.
Well, I mean, I'll take a normal pour, a little bit more than that. Do you realize how much we drink?
All right. Look at that, Tara. He's like, no, give me more for stuff.
I mean,
And
what were
that's-
you asking for? Not to fill it to the rim?
Yeah, exactly. I guess.
There's
Well,
still air in there.
the one thing I
Keep it
do appreciate about Japanese. That's what I appreciate about it.
Is it what you appreciate?
Yes.
Is that
I
all you
appreciate-
appreciate about it?
Not all, but about Japanese whiskey is almost all the noses are very similar. They
Yeah.
got that kind of I mean, you know it's Japanese whiskey because it does not smell like Irish. It does not smell like Scotch, but it definitely has that. I don't even know what you even call it. Maybe it's just that subtle
So-
kind of butter nose on it.
I'm saying on the nose on this, though, I would really strongly guess that this was finished in a bourbon barrel.
I would agree.
Yeah.
Because I'm pulling some bourbon notes.
Get a little bit of that oak.
Very subtly. And
Yeah.
But I like how you said butter because as I nose this, I absolutely get like that Irish butter,
Yeah.
the real yellow, like real heavy duty stuff.
Yeah.
It's got kind of
there's,
that.
there's layers on this nose, but there's the floral note, there's the fruit note, and then there's like a buttercream frosting kind
Yeah.
of thing
Yes.
going on.
That's a good call. This one definitely, I do think this is probably the lowest proof we've had so far.
But we're only guessing because we
Can't read Japanese.
But Heine's
Boy,
going to
this
look it
is
up for
really
us.
I'm trying to
It's
Google
really
it.
good,
just,
though,
You got to
yeah.
go in and put in all the.
Oh,
You know,
man.
as subtle as the differences were between the three of them, they're still totally different, all three of them.
all three of them.
Yeah.
different.
And that's kind of cool because, I mean, I would still say all these taste like Japanese whiskey, but they are subtly different, each one of them.
This one is the least Japanese as far as what I think of when I think.
I agree.
I don't
agree
get
with
I don't
that.
get as much of the floral. I don't get much of the.
It's-
But
I
yeah,
could
Same.
probably confuse this with a Scotch.
It's the same distiller
I-
that makes
you're
the
right.
Toki,
That makes what?
the Toki whiskey.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh,
Tokai?
yeah.
Tokai.
Tokai.
yeah, that's actually when we had at one point we sold out of that one. We just don't get a lot of people coming in here to trying the
Yeah.
stuff like that. We do have some Irish people, we do have some Scotch people, but Japanese not as much. Most people are bourbon. We're in Indiana.
Yeah, yeah.
So-
I'd be kind of curious if there's, especially West Coast, if there's a little bit more palate for Japanese whiskey.
I'd be curious to learn more about that because, I mean, just like talking to distilleries out west, they always are really weirded out by the fact that we want cask strength. And I don't know if that comes from the wine side because they're used to drinking stuff that's a little bit lower proof or what it is, or lower ABV. Maybe that's part of it, like a more subtle palate. But, even Colorado and West, they're all like shocked that people want anything over 90 proof.
And they're all very heavily single malt, American
Yes,
single malt
yes.
based out there, especially in the Northwest.
Well, I still haven't got the package from 10th Mountain, so I'm
Okay.
going to reach out to Chris, and if you're listening, Chris, please let me know because I thought it would be here by now, but it's
Well,
not here yet.
Didn't he say that the zip code was wrong and they sent it back to him?
But that was last weekend,
Oh.
and he was supposed to ship it out Tuesday, which I don't know if he shipped it out, how he shipped it, but we'll be doing. So I think this next weekend we're going to be doing a podcast with Chris from 10th Mountain Distillery in Colorado.
So have you
Right?
guys, have you had Colorado.
okay.
Yes. Have you guys had, I forget what the brand is, but they call it the coffee.
Nika.
Nika.
Yeah,
coffee
we had that
whiskey.
here too.
Yeah,
at
I
one
thought
point.
so.
Yeah,
I thought so. This kind of makes me think of that.
that's actually not a bad call. Yeah.
Yeah. And if I remember correctly, they're taking barrels that had coffee.
No.
No,
It's just a coffee still.
It's
just a coffee
yeah.
still.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
sorry.
It's just a type of column still.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, because I will say a lot of people drinking, they're like, oh man, I taste the coffee. And I'm like,
Well, technically, there's no coffee.
there's no coffee, sorry.
So Takishura, who was the original master distiller for Centauri or Yamakaze, he left and split. They split in 1934. I don't know what happened. They had a falling out. But Takasura, he started Nika. He started that brand.
Oh,
He
okay.
started
Okay.
that. So that's it. So the two original guys that started distilling, you have Centauri or Yamakaze, and then you have Nika. So,
And I would say probably in America, Nika is probably the number one selling.
oh well, yeah.
I would.
Yeah.
Is there other ones? Can
There's
you
a
think-
Nika straight from the barrel. That's essentially
Yeah.
a cask strength Nika. That
would be fun.
A lot of people love it. It's really good. Yeah.
I'll have to find that. I finally started getting my my bourbon shelving stuff. My daughter's got me a hutch and
Oh, that's
took the
cool.
doors off of it, and so it's got open
cool.
shelves, and I've got my humidor there and all my bottles. So whenever I'm on work calls, my background's all my whiskey.
Nice.
Yeah,
nice.
which is pretty awesome. But I'm
Yeah, I'm
I'm
hoping
realizing
to
I
get
gotta
mine done this year a little bit. Yeah,
yeah.
I don't live at home anymore. So.
Right. You live. I mean, your collection's right
was gonna
there on
say,
the wall.
exactly. You got your wall up pretty
yes.
good.
And it's always accessible
Yes, it
to
is.
everybody. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
You even put menus together and everything.
Isn't that great?
It's crazy.
Yes, it's awesome.
You're so kind.
I know. My couch is right over there I sleep on. It's awesome. I like this. Is actually really good. Tara, good job. This is a really good
pick,
bottle.
Tara.
So Mike had kind of mentioned this, and I thought we'd talk about it real quick since we're doing single malts. Talk about the new category in America that is American single malt. That's actually a definition. It's now been defined by the TTB. And I thought we'd just kind of talk about what the rules are. Number one, must be made from 100% malted barley. It must be distilled in the U.S. at a single distillery to a proof of 160 or less.
Ooh.
Aging can be aged in oak barrels in the U.S. with a maximum capacity of 700 liters, but it doesn't have to be new charred oak. So it could be any oak barrel.
Huh.
The bottling must be bottled at a minimum of 80 proof. So there's no barrel entry requirement for a single malt. So you could put it in at a high proof.
So it's similar to the Japanese rules. It sounds
Or
like. Yeah.
light
But
whiskey.
160
whiskey.
proof is a lot lower than 190.
True.
Correct. Yeah, correct. Caramel coloring is allowed, but it must be disclosed on the label.
Huh.
So you
That
can
is
add that.
Traveler whiskey.
No flavoring or blending materials are allowed except for caramel coloring, which we just mentioned. And that it must be aged for a minimum of 2 years.
Okay, so there's just
Wow,
two.
a
Japanese is
minimum
3.
age statement.
Interesting.
That is interesting.
Yeah.
All of those rules are really
I'm kind of
kind
glad.
of unique.
I'm kind of glad to see the TTB starting to do this because honestly, I thought the first one they were going to do is put some rules on finishing, and have a category for finishing. There's not one right now,
Not yet.
and there should be one. There should have been one of those before American single malt because I think the finishing started before really the single malt craze started happening in America. So, well, good for them to start.
Tiny,
doing
you
some
finding
new stuff.
details over here about
Yeah,
this?
it's basically the Centauri Whiskey Royale, and it's a blend at about 43%. It doesn't have an age statement on it, but there is a bunch of 3s on here, so it may be a 3+ year.
Well, we
similar
know
to the
it's
first
definitely
one.
at least 3 years
Yeah.
because that's part of the rules.
But I think
So-
all of them just say 3+. I haven't seen
Okay.
a single one that says an actual year.
And they're obviously probably blending to create these
Yeah.
bottles, so they might have 3 to
But
5.
this one was
or
a
whatever.
limited design bottle signature release, so
But
Okay.
again, remember, they can blend at the same distillery,
Right,
and it's still a single malt.
right. It has to be the same distillery.
Same
Yeah.
distillery. So
Yep.
that's, yeah, it's so weird that that's how that distinction got made, but
Mm-hmm.
you just, I kind of had to get it like hammered in my head when I first started,
Yeah.
looking into this.
So
It's like,
I think this is really good for the American single malt producers because there has to be standards, right?
Yes.
You have to know going in what to expect when you're looking at single malt because right now you go and look at American single malt and you're like, I'm confused. What is it? What is it going to taste like? Now I kind of have some ideas of what it's going to be, and it's not the Wild Wild West anymore.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People could have been adding flavoring to it. They could have been adding things you didn't know that.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that was the whole reason why Bottle and Bond Act started was because people were adding whatever the hell to make it look darker.
And if
I mean,
you're
tobacco
adding,
juice, whatever the hell you wanted to add to it.
if you're distilling at a super high proof and you're putting it at the barrel at 160 and you're aging it for less than 2 years, yeah, you're going to have to add caramel coloring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I don't think you're going to see a lot of that. I think most American whiskey producers that are good, or American or single malt, whiskey
Yeah,
producers
yeah.
that are good, they're going to be aging theirs way longer than
Yeah,
2 years.
yeah.
so what is a good example, Will, of an American single malt?
Well,
I know Balcones has a couple of
It's
really good single malts.
glad you mentioned that because I have one in my bag here.
Oh,
We're gonna
good.
try
We'll
it.
get to that one
All
next.
right.
All
But
right.
it's, the Westward Whiskey Company out of, I don't know if they're either Colorado or Oregon. We'll look, but they're doing a really good job.
Well, and here locally, Jason Fruits did a single malt
And
up there, and he actually won an award.
That won gold at San Francisco.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was the #1 single malt of the year there. And the
you look
funny-
at that bottle; it was really light. It was as light as these. and
I didn't get to try that version. I tried his second batch, and I
Yeah.
thought it was good, but it wasn't my favorite.
It was a little overpriced for what that second
It was,
one was.
yeah. It wasn't my jam, but you know, a lot of people love, and that's probably the most local one I could think of.
Yeah,
I don't
I don't
think
know anybody else.
Starlight does one.
I've not seen Starlight
Hard
do
Truth
it.
We'll be in a
doesn't
new
do it.
category, and now that
Yeah.
it's got rules around it, it'll be interesting to see. You know, we've seen a lot of exploration in the bourbon world, right? We've seen the variants of corn that have been put out there.
Yeah.
We've seen a lot of the finishing work that's been done. You know, and we've talked about the boom being over. I mean, that's pretty obvious. There's a lot of articles now that are coming out about the boom being over, and it's
Yeah.
been over, and you can read all about that stuff.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that people aren't trying to explore whiskey.
Right.
Right, and it's a great opportunity now that you've got a lot of these smaller, you know, small batch or craft distillers out there to continue to explore.
Yeah. Well, and I'm glad you said that, because that's something that people are talking about in the cigar world too. The boom is over, and like, people have to understand, the boom is over doesn't mean it's going away.
Right.
It just means people have actually figured out what they like, and they're drinking what they like, they're smoking what they like, and I hate hearing that, you know, people say it's like, oh, the boom's over, it's doomed now. It's like, no, people have figured out what they want, and now they're going to go out and try that, and they're not going to keep on trying to get every freaking allocated bottle to put on their shelf because
It's-
they don't know what it is. People just starting to figure out what they
And
want
there's-
to spend their money on.
It's not really a comparison between whiskey and cigars, because
No.
if cigars were like whiskey and we walked in, first of all, your humidor would have to be twice the size to carry the number of brands
Minimum.
that are on
Minimum.
the shelf right now. And it's honestly, it's fatiguing especially as a new bourbon drinker or a new whiskey drinker, to go into a Total Wine and try to, you know, first of all, no offense, but get past their push for their product.
For their products,
Which
And
is
then
about half
actually-
of what they have.
Yeah, and then go through and look at all the other brands. It's overwhelming, quite honestly.
Now, the nice thing about that with Total Wine, with their own Total Wine labels, they're getting a lot of their stuff from BBC, so they're getting some really good juice. That one you had was really good.
Yeah, the Emmer.
Emmer, yeah. But again, you know, people aren't hunting Total Wine stuff because you can get it every day of the week.
Which isn't a bad thing either.
It's not a bad thing at all.
Yeah,
as long
I
as
mean,
it's
look,
good.
you're-
So don't turn down. I think I've heard some people talk about Wolcott. They liked Wolcott. I'm like, I haven't had it yet. Don't know if it's any good.
I've had a Wolcott.
And
Yeah.
but I haven't had that.
It's-
I don't
it's-
think
it's
I
good.
have.
Was it BBC or is it Barton? I think a lot of it's Barton.
Is it
actually.
Barton? Okay.
I think Barton's.
Okay,
Yeah.
I was thinking BBC,
Yeah.
but okay.
Did anybody else start getting a cherry note? A really, really. I'm gonna call this out. The last sip I took,
Ludens.
it was that Russell's Reserve 15 cherry note.
Oh, I'm almost thinking like
That
a
fresh
little,
cracked cherry note guy
a
got out of
slightly
this.
less sweet Ludens. Cough
See, I
drop.
didn't get the medicinal
Yeah, I didn't get the
element out of it.
Not medicinal, just the
Just
sweetness.
the sweetness?
I don't
Yes.
get medicinal, but I see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, just that cherry, which is I don't know. I think I'm really like right now my palate's really like liking that.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
it's always going to change, right? You go from 6 months or so and all your taste buds are replaced, and so your palate can kind of change. But right now, that cherry note
Scott's
is just...
calling it out now. Royal Whiskey is the whiskey
Yeah,
of the
no,
year.
No, not even close.
This international award goes
Not
to
even
International,
close.
baby. Yes.
The best
yes.
single malt he's tasted in 2025.
Hey, yeah, well, there you go. That could be true.
So I'll tell you, when we get to this next one, this was a bottle that I really, really wanted to get my hands on for a long time. And shout out to Ari.
Ari just jumped on the
Ari.
chat too.
Yeah. Oh, Ari's on.
he's
Cool.
watching.
What's up, Ari?
Yeah. What's up, man? Yeah.
What's
so
up, Ari?
Ari, God bless you,
That
man.
camera, not
camera,
that one.
not that-
Ari, you know, the world traveler he is. He spent some time in India and Japan earlier, or the latter part of 2024, and he got me this bottle, and I begged him, if you see it, you know, please try to get me one, and he came through in spades, so I appreciate that. And this is the Ichiro. This is the 2023 red wine finish single malt
Chichibu.
Chichibu. Yeah.
We are, in fact, filling the room with tobacco smoke by way of the leaf wrapper that I can
Burning in
see
the-
is now
Yeah, here we go.
has now lit and is burning.
Hell yeah.
It's not on fire, like it's not like, you know, there's not a flame, but it's there you go.
Okay, there's something I do occasionally, and I know Lisa gets nervous when I do this, but if you ever have cellophane True cellophane is actually it's breathable, but it's made of like wood fibers. It's actually not plastic. And the way you tell that is if you light cellophane on fire, if it smells, just acrid, just terrible, it's plastic. If you light it and it smells like cedar, it's cellophane. And I do that all the time. I'll light that and put it in there, and it just makes the whole area smell like cedar. It's really kind of nice. But it's also a pyro thing, so.
Right. Chance to set something on fire.
All right, so we're into
Okay, so the
Ichi
color on
Rose.
this is the thing I just noticed immediately compared to everything else we've had.
Darker and everything, yep.
Way darker. Yeah, not even remotely close to what we've been drinking.
So Tyler said if you do come down to Old Homestead, he wants a few crown heads.
I got you, buddy. Let me know which ones.
So yeah, Ari mentioned too that New Riff has an American single malt out now. I haven't tried it yet.
Okay.
But yeah, they do. So
Oh, okay.
By the way, Tyler, talk to your. And I wish I could remember her name. The one that's actually running the humidor over there too. Talk to Jake Sanders. Get Jake Sanders down there to get some crowned heads into your humidor. He would love to be down there.
Okay, I'm going to be real curious about this. It's got great legs, by the way. Really
I'm telling you right
clings
now,
to the
this
glass
cigar
nicely.
has made me want to smoke this cigar more now.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
It's
It is
great.
so
yeah.
good. There, I mean, even on the retrohale, you're still getting a little bit of the kick on the retrohale.
That's
but
what I was
it's
going to
so
talk about
smooth
next
still.
was the retro.
Yeah.
Ooh,
So this
Really
one
good
comes
cigar.
in at 50%.
Nice.
So
That's-
this one is 100 proof.
that's that retro's got
It's-
some cedar notes to
It
it.
does.
Like actual, like that's
Slight
probably the
little-
most cedar I think I've ever had out of a
Maybe
cigar.
just a slight hint of pepper, but it's not over aggressive. It's just
Yeah, it's not strong.
smooth. It's
I would
nice.
almost say that there is a touch of like either molasses or like Class D maple syrup.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's definitely the
What,
pepper
did
is
the Class
gone.
D throw you off
Yeah,
there?
yeah.
Are you not familiar with the four classes of maple syrup?
No, I'm not.
I am
Scott.
very
Oh my
familiar.
goodness!
Oh.
Oh, man!
Each one of them tastes different. Each one of them tastes fantastic.
Oh, now see, Will, you spent so much time focused on this bourbon thing,
That
trying to
I-
become an ass guy,
I
and you,
bailed
you've
on the
missed
maple
things.
syrup.
And now you're stuck on
That's
vodka.
right. You got to get on a little bit of maple syrup,
I
man.
think I need to.
We may be starting the Ass Hat Awards here soon.
That's
just
right,
So you
that's
know.
right.
When Fred does 100 bottles, we're doing 1,000
Exactly. Yeah, let's do it.
in
1,000.
in
That'll be
12
insane.
hours.
All right, we're going to have to do that in shifts.
We'll have IV stations lined up.
Yes, we'll all be hooked up to the ozone blood purifiers.
Blood purifier.
We're definitely doing that one in shifts.
I mean, I love this expression. It is just, for my palate,
Oh.
it just does amazing. I mean, I love it.
That red wine comes through
Yeah.
beautifully. But it's not like a drying red wine. It's
so
more of a
rich
sweeter.
and red and luscious and
Well,
just.
it's almost like on
What
this first
in the
one I
hell
hated.
did I just drink? That is incredible.
That's amazing.
really good.
I almost wanted to point out, like on the first one we did, it almost had a white wine characteristic to it. It didn't,
Oh, yeah.
It didn't taste like white wine.
So-
Right,
But
right.
it had that style finish and
Yeah.
and complexity to it. It was almost more like a white wine.
That's a good call.
But I didn't want to say
Now,
that
see
'cause
this.
it's a bourbon podcast.
It's the red wine cask, and I love that you called this out
Yeah.
with the white wine because there is a Chardonnay called Butter,
Yep.
and it's just run of the mill. It's not
Yeah.
like real expensive or anything, but they obviously are focusing on one flavor element, and it's to make it very buttery,
Yeah.
both in texture and in taste. This absolutely has a texture very similar to that Chardonnay, where it's very viscous and coating and fatty.
Oh yeah.
It's great, but it doesn't have the flavor
But
of
it's-
any
No.
kind of. It's all red wine flavor.
but it's still light too, right?
Yes.
It's
It
very
is.
light.
Still approachable.
Yeah.
The
And-
thing that I've appreciated about all of the different expressions so far, every single one of them is mouth-watering, and every single one of them is very, very sweet. You know, they don't do like some of the whiskeys.
Not cloyingly sugary.
Yeah.
No.
Sweet
It's
in
not
a
like
sweet-
confection or
No,
anything like that.
no.
Oh.
But I like it because there's some whiskeys out there that I love the flavor, but they dry my palate out, and I just can't drink much of it.
Right, either ethanol
None
or
of this
tannic.
does. It's like every one of these, I'm just like my mouth keeps watering constantly with it.
Yeah, it's good. So the funny thing is, I tasted this the first time, the same day. I tasted this first at a cigar bar in Los Angeles. second thing I tasted was Russell's 15 for the
Oh,
first
oh,
time.
Oh,
And I'm
man.
like, what in the hell is going on in this world today? These are phenomenal. And I just tasted like two of the best things that I love the most from last year. And we're on the same day.
That's a
Will's
good
just got
day.
music in his head playing. It's gonna be a good day.
Right,
right,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
It was amazing.
He was sitting in his field with his shirt off with his ascot on. Yeah, exactly.
And a Speedo. We got to get the whole thing going here.
God.
Yeah.
Don't put your mental pictures in
Oh
this.
man, I didn't need to see that in my head.
Hey, but
scares me.
He's over here wearing shorts. I can rub his knee and everything. It's great.
You do whatever you want on this side of
It's
the
getting
table.
weird on the Final Third podcast
I was-
today.
Hey, but- oh,
Save that for subscriber content.
Yes,
I was
thank you.
I was the ass that wore shorts today.
Yeah. Save that for the only Glens.
I did consider wearing shorts.
I mean, it's
thought
going to
I
be
should've.
35 degrees
Is it
today.
really?
Yeah.
Damn it, I should have worn shorts.
Yeah. I walked out yesterday. I went to the grocery store, and I walked out of the grocery store, and I had my coat on. And I'm sweating like hell. I'm like, God, it's got to be 45 degrees out here or something.
It was 20.
It was 25 degrees. I'm like, we've gotten so used to the cold weather now. It's like, I don't even need a jacket right now. I'm in here in a T-shirt walking out here feeling comfortable.
In one way, I kind of hate that. I hate
I
when
do
I get
too.
used to the cold weather because I love the hot weather.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I love hot weather.
The worst thing is when we have cold snap and then we get used to it, and then immediately we have like 70-degree temperature. You're like, it's hotter than hell.
Right, you're sweating, you're dying.
Yeah.
This is absolutely beautiful.
That is
Yeah.
really nice.
this is-
Good call, man.
Yeah, I mean, I can never re-thank Ari enough for that. So thank you so much, bud. I mean,
Definite
that's
shout out to Ari
amazing.
on this one.
Ari.
That's amazing.
Yeah, really, really good.
Again, Ari, his app is called Lick, L-I-Q. Get on there. There's been some content being added to it all the time. You can add your own content. You can add flavor, tasting notes, all that stuff in there. Get on there and start checking it out because I think it's going to
I
start
reviewed-
blowing up quick.
Yeah, I reviewed this Ichiro's Chichibu on.
Did you?
on
Good,
there,
good.
On Lick, yeah. So
I need to get going on that thing. I also need to learn to use Instagram. Lots of people following me. I've posted like twice.
I did.
Ever.
I do have to
I'm
call
Facebook.
the old man out over here. He's in here sitting down yesterday. He's like, "What the hell is a thread?" I'm like, "A thread is Instagram's version of Twitter." He's like, "Fuck that! I don't want to do that." I'm like, "Nobody wants to do it. It's never going
No,
to take
it's
off.
awful.
I'm sorry. It's
Yeah.
never
I
going to take
keep
off."
getting, hey, you need to join my thread.
Yeah, that, I
No.
get that too. I'm like, what is?
No,
annoying. It's too much.
just stop, people. Just stop.
So, all right. So I want to talk here real quick about something that has nothing to do with anything. This Zuckerberg being on Joe Rogan.
Joe Rogan.
Oh, I
Did you
didn't
guys
hear
hear
that.
about this?
I saw clips of it.
No,
here
I
and
didn't
there,
see it
but-
at all.
Yeah, so I mean, I just look. You got to appreciate a businessman taking care of his business, and when the whole world's switching directions, and it's not all kind of controlling the conversation, and he gets on, and he's like, "Yeah, it was like the Gestapo." Biden's people were calling and screaming at us during COVID that we had to do all these things. I'm just kind of laughing because I'm like, dude, you're just gonna go whichever way makes you money.
Yeah.
That's
What
it.
cracked me up is he's like, Joe Rogan was like, "Did you record these conversations?" He's like, "No, but I have the emails. I'm not going to play you
those
the
will be
audio,
leaked.
but I'll send you the
Right,
text."
right.
They'll get leaked with Hunter Biden's emails eventually, right?
Oh man,
We won't go there. We won't go
That,
there.
that laptop's never going to see
that'll
the light of
get
day.
real deep. I just found it amusing. Like
That is
you see
funny.
a bunch of these businesses now. They're like, "Oh, we're getting rid of DEI," and I'm not commenting on any like personal feelings about any of that. I just find it funny to see how, the ebbs and flows of society
Yeah.
and
Get
where
back to
people go with it.
individualism.
Yeah. How about we just go to work and go home and get with our friends and smoke cigars and drink whiskey?
Amen.
I like doing that.
I'm with you.
Or smoke
Yeah.
cigars and whiskey and make new friends.
Or,
Oh, I like that one too. Make new
or I
friends.
go to work and
smoke and drink.
with my friends.
Market research for you, though.
Market research.
That's
Market
research for
research.
you.
That's right. God, this job
Hey, I just
sucks.
noticed a sign. We probably need to call this out. Vote for Best of Madison County.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
as we mentioned, PCA is out this year because you can't win 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
But that's okay. You got
That's
invited
okay.
to be a judge. That's
Yeah, right.
awesome.
Yeah.
But the Final Third Cigar and Whiskey Lounge is up for 6 different categories, I think.
Five.
Five
Five
categories for Best in Madison County.
Yeah.
There's a QR code here in at the lounge that you can scan. Would definitely appreciate your votes on all of that.
Yes.
If you're listening,
If
go
you're in
out
Madison
and,
County area,
Yep.
please
Yeah,
vote.
I don't
You can
care.
vote
New Jersey
or-
Mike, go out
Yeah, New
out
Jersey
there.
Mike, come
I think
on,
it's
baby, come on.
the heraldbulletin.com or something like that. It's
yeah.
our it's our
It's
local
under-
newspaper that does a fantastic job at reporting all of the local news, and they their editing is
We love those
awesome.
guys.
They are fantastic. You should definitely subscribe to their paper. But they do host they do the whole Best of Madison
Yeah.
County. So
And, and all of our entries are under the food and drink category. I think we're for
Best
best
bar.
cigar bar or best bar staff, best upscale bar,
Best cocktail?
best cocktail for the old fashioned, and then
should have been the Sazerac.
I thought about
Sazerac.
that too, but I will say more people come in here and say this is the best old fashioned they've ever
Old-fashioned.
had. So
Well, and people know old fashions.
People
A lot of
know
people don't know
old-fashioned.
Sazerac.
all of them.
Yeah.
and there's one more, and I can't remember what. best outdoor patio.
Okay, cool.
So
I like the best
I'm
outdoor.
sure there's some other ones out there that are great, but
And if you haven't been
we're
here,
in there for
watch
it.
the intro to the video and you'll see the outdoor patio.
And then you can vote on it and feel comfortable
Yeah.
about it.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And you can vote once per day, so vote
And
every day.
Please do every day.
Please, 'cause
Every day.
Yes.
You have nothing else to do.
No,
so
exactly. I mean, come
Act
on.
like you're in the state of Illinois. Vote early and vote often.
Yes, yes, yes. We need to get some hanging chads for this vote.
That's a good call.
That'd be great. I love it. I
yeah,
love
that's for the young ones. That's a throwback to 2000.
it. Yeah. Again, no one cares.
No, no one cares.
So let's talk about the final third of this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where are we
Yeah.
at with it, guys?
Well, mine, I powered through mine. Sorry, guys.
It's all right.
You're
But
good.
yeah, the,
Well, you're ready for the ozgener.
Oz family.
That cigar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll wait on
getting-
you guys. I'm fine. I'm, just
I'm
saying.
getting like a real heavy cedar note.
Yep.
That cedar was on the retro, and
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
building up now in the
I
main
didn't.
flavor.
I didn't get it until I retroed about halfway through. Then the cedar started to make a note, and then as it got through the final third,
It's popping.
it's
yeah.
popping out.
Yeah.
But you
It's
always
making
worry
some-
when anything gets
Yeah.
a heavy wood flavor of any type, right? You're always concerned like it can be drying or
Right.
Can get tannic. It has none of that.
No.
It's
No.
like opening the drawer, to your dresser or something and had the cedar lined and
Well, and the retro in the final third right now, I'm getting a little bit more of that black pepper.
it picks up.
And I
It
like
picks
that.
up, yeah.
But that's also the heat of the
But
cigar
it's,
and the tobacco.
it's not like the stronger ones we have that are pepper bombs.
right, no.
It's not that.
No.
You just get the note of it.
Yes.
Along with the cedar and the oakiness.
There's a little bit of nuttiness in this
Yep.
too, which I like almost like a walnut shell kind of thing going. It's nice.
it's go ahead, Will.
It's
I was
good.
just going to say this was just this isn't the pairing of the month, but I highly recommend if you come in and you want to try something different, pair this with a Japanese whiskey.
Oh, yes.
You
or
won't
a
be
Scotch or an Irish.
Or a
Any of
Scotch.
those
Maybe
will
this
work.
needs
Yeah.
to be the next month. Maybe we
Could
need to
be.
come back to this. And,
We could, yeah.
Yeah, or maybe a couple months. Maybe when we get into spring. You know what? Let's
well,
do
when we get
that.
into St. Patty's Day, maybe we do our Irish podcast then
Oh yeah.
for St. Patty's Day.
Oh, do Irish whiskey.
Do
for
I will
Irish
tell you
whiskeys.
right now that the Aladino Candela would go fantastic
Oh, yeah.
with all this Irish.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
we could do the Irish. We could do that as the Irish thing.
Did they make
No-
that normal release? Or
Yes,
the-
yes.
Oh,
It's a
good.
normal release. I
good.
got the
'Cause that
Toro with the
Candela's
Robusto
great,
here.
yeah.
It's great. And just so you know, Mike Bother, green beer should not be drank. Screw green beer. And Jen's screaming at me right now because Jen likes her green beer on St. Patty's
She
Day.
does.
That's why we can have all of ours. We're drinking
I'm
whiskey.
I'm
Are you
gonna
gonna
go
do
with
it?
Mike and Jen on that. It makes me smile to drink.
It's
something
always
green
just
on
like
St.
crap
Patrick's
beer that they throw green in. I'm like, I don't
I
like
hope
crap
so.
So
beer
then
in the first
get
place.
some green
I
food
hope you're-
coloring and drop it into whatever your favorite
I'm
beer
gonna put
is.
green food coloring in bourbon.
I hope your pee comes out green.
Why not? Sure.
Is that what you hope?
Is that all you hope?
Is that all you hope?
A man can dream. All right, well,
I
we're
can
going to
just
jump
go pee
into
in the
another ad
snow.
sponsor here real quick.
Yeah, let's get some bills paid.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you to sponsors Deadwood Live. Derek with Deadwood Live is producing top quality live edge products as well as bourbon themed furniture. If you've been in the lounge, you've seen the custom live edge table and barrel stools produced by Derek. Be sure to give him a like and follow on Facebook at Deadwood Live. That's DED Wood Live. Thanks to Derek and Deadwood Live. Always appreciate that.
Thanks, Derek. We love you, buddy.
Beautiful table we get to do our podcast on most weeks.
Yeah, and if you're ever out here and get to talk to him, he's just an awesome person, period. So we
Ooh,
do have
yeah.
a couple of events coming up.
I bet you could scan that. Do you think that's
what I was trying
visible enough? Oh, yeah. Get some light on it, maybe.
This side's the barrel proof, so they're different on each side.
Oh, I thought you wanted the QR code. That's what I thought.
There you go. There you go. I thought that's what you brought too. So we do have a couple of events coming up. So next Thursday.
Okay.
What is that date? Thursday what? 16? Hold on, I'm gonna pull my calendar.
Ooh,
up
that
if I
looks
can get it
good
to come
on
up.
there. Yeah. Perfect.
Come on.
What's the matter? More technical difficulties?
Okay.
Where's our producer?
So the 16th, next Thursday, Jeremy from McAuliffe's going to be here. We're going to be doing a cut and light.
Yay.
It's more of just a hangout with him to enjoy some of the McAuliffe cigars. We'll have some specials going on. He'll have some giveaways. So that's next Thursday, the 16th. And then the 29th, it's a Wednesday night. Lisa's doing this, and it's kind of an homage back to Ode to Oak, which is Jackie's Icahn.
Jackie's Icahn.
And also the girl that's down the road here, KM Bass Supplies. She's coming out to help people learn how to make their own fragrances. So it's like, it sounds like a female kind of event, but it could be a cool thing for guys too. It's going to be for both, but she's going to come out and show how to actually blend to make fragrances and stuff too. So that'll be on Wednesday the 29th.
That's
So what
the
I like
29th
about
from
that-
6 to 8 p.m.
Yes.
And then it's also
Reserve your spot.
reserve your spot is what it says.
Okay.
Very cool.
I think I'll drop my cigar.
So I
again,
like
didn't
this idea
You
because
lose it, Rob?
Jackie talked about this being able to nose, get an aroma of something and have like memories brought up, and
Yeah.
a lot of people are like, I don't really know how to taste things, but you always start with the aroma.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
And sometimes it's just, they say take time to stop and smell the roses.
Yeah.
Take time to stop and smell the different things that you consume, right?
Yeah.
Whether you're walking through the flowers or you're eating your food. The way that we've all kind of learned and trained our palates to be able to taste some of these things and tell you guys about them is just because you got to pay attention.
Yes, you do. Yeah.
And so doing something like this fragrance and DIY fragrance is a great way to kind of educate yourself about, what does hibiscus smell like?
Right,
What
right.
does, peach blossom or orange
Saffron.
blossom or saffron.
Yeah, yeah.
What was that word that Ari used? Damn it.
Heliotrope.
Heliotrope.
Heliotrope, yeah.
there we go. Right? Or earthiness.
And
or,
we fall into
yeah.
this all the time. It's like you get a bourbon and you're like, I know it, and you start drinking it, and you don't engage your nose.
The
The
majority
nose
of your flavor sensors are
come
triggered
through your
by
nose.
your senses.
Your
and your
olfactory
nose.
senses
Yeah.
are what really trigger the actual flavors. When you're just tasting it, you're tasting savory, you're tasting spice, you're tasting sweet, different things like that. But you can actually break it down to a flavor note when you get your nose engaged, which is like retrohaling a cigar or nosing a whiskey or something like that. And I fall into it all the time because I smoke so many cigars. Half the time I don't even think about cold drawing anymore.
Yep.
The cold draw on a cigar will kind of get you set up for what your flavors are going to be when you start smoking it. And like this one here, that cold draw, it's got a lot of barnyard, but it's also got a little bit of that kind of a dark kind of cocoa thing going. I know when I light this up, I'm going to get a bomb of flavor just because of the cold draw. And you can train your palate to know what you're going to get ready to get into as you do the cold draw on these, or even just like the aroma of sniffing the side of the cigar or the foot, just to kind of get your nose engaged to it. That's definitely the way to kick up your actual tasting experience.
What's the breakdown on this, Rob? Is this San Andreas? Or
I think so. I should have grabbed the card. Let me look it up real quick.
So while Rob's looking that up, you've already heard a couple things about some basics with tasting and managing cigars when the humidity is low.
Right.
Rob, I know we don't have a date on it yet, but there is going to be Cigar 101.
We do.
We got a date.
It's the month of February.
There you go, the month of February.
So every week on Thursday night, we're doing Cigar 101, which we did it before, and I did edit it. There's no more tongue map. Since
What
we
do you
were-
mean?
Since we were chastised for the tongue map, that's gone. But I have edited it, and we're going to do that again. So it really is just a good way to learn a little bit more about the cigar world. From the basics of cutting and lighting to tobaccos to, talking about the farm and just kind of all the way across the board. So it's every week from, hold on, let me look at the map here.
The map,
So-
that's also called a calendar.
It is called a
The
calendar.
map of dates.
So February 6th is the first week, 6th, 13th, 20th, and 27th. And then we'll be doing it from, hey, Lisa, what time are we doing the Cigar 101? Is it
Cigar
7 to
101.
9? 7 to 8? 7 to 8-ish. We'll start at 7 so people can get home from work, grab some food, and come in here. We'll start at 7. We're not going to stop at 8. We're going to keep talking. We're going to keep smoking. But just come in here and grab you a cigar and grab you a pour, and we're going to start talking about tobacco and cigars. So the first time when we did it, I was expecting maybe 5 or 6 people to go. By the time we got into it, we had the whole room of
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
And it's not like people just brand new to cigars. It was people, like you were here.
Oh, yeah, I
Several
learned.
of them.
Yeah.
You were here. I mean, it's like there was a lot of people that came that already know a lot about it. And the cool thing about that is it's not just me talking. Then all of a sudden everyone's talking and they're asking questions or they're just, putting out their advice. It's just more of an experience of engaging with one another.
It's not a lecture. It's
No.
not a school class. It's a fireside chat.
It is, yes.
Just
And by
hanging
the way,
around
it's not,
talking.
it's not telling you what to do. It's saying, okay, the learned, lessons are, this is the suggestion of how you
Yeah.
do things. Now,
Yes.
some people are just, they got the way that they like to do something. You like to cut your cigar a certain
Yeah.
way. That's fine.
Nothing
right?
wrong with
There's nothing wrong with that. This is just learning, education, experience, all
This
that
is
sort
not
of
telling
stuff.
you how to do it. This is just telling you
It's definitely
some
not
of the ways to
chastising
do
you
it.
on how wrong
Yeah.
you are.
Yeah.
So
right?
Ari, if you're still watching, this is something you should totally do because
Absolutely.
you've talked about, not just you but other people talking about. I want to learn more about. I don't know anything about cigars.
Yeah.
This is the type of environment you want to come to learn on these nights in February. That'd
Yes.
be great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
one tip I got early on in smoking cigars was breathe in through your nose while you're puffing into your mouth, and that will keep you from inhaling.
Right.
Because if you've ever had any experience with inhaling anything,
Just like
It's
Rob.
Rob.
like Rob just did, yeah,
Don't
that's-
do it when you're lighting your cigar.
Timing
Right.
is everything.
Yoda over here.
Yeah, puff when you're lighting, but then
Yes.
sometimes it's kind of easy. But you get more. You open up that olfactory senses and just breathing in through your nose. The smoke's coming into your mouth, so you're not going to breathe it in through your nose while you're
Right,
puffing it
right.
into your mouth. But it does open up a lot of the flavors,
Yeah.
and enables you to have that tasting element there.
Yeah.
That a lot of people say, "Oh, I have a cigar, and I just I wake up the next morning, my mouth tastes like ash, and all this stuff." And yeah, the 101 will help you a lot.
I think so too.
Yeah.
So the makeup of the cigar is it's Mexican San Andreas wrapper. The binder is a Ecuadorian Sumatra, and then the fillers are Connecticut, Dominican, and Nicaraguan. So
Nice.
there's a
None of that
Nice
surprises me
blend.
based on the
Yeah.
flavor.
It's
No.
got so much complexity going on, and this cigar we've had these for a little while, and they've aged so nicely.
Oh, yeah.
This thing is smoking great right
It
now.
really is, and that makes me feel good because I don't know cigars near as well as I know whiskey.
But you called the San Andreas.
But I thought
Yeah.
when I first lit it, I'm like, man, this sure is like San Andreas to me.
I was pretty sure it was because I do love San Andreas.
I wasn't surprised when you said Sumatra.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I have an affinity to Sumatra. I really
Yeah.
like those Aladino Sumatras. And
Yeah, I like
Yeah.
the dark Sumatra. Some of the lighter Sumatras have kind of a weird funk to them that it's not my jam. Some people love them.
Yeah.
I mean,
I am glad that we're drinking this. Well, finishing it because it holds up.
it does.
Yeah,
It did.
It definitely brings
did.
some more of the.
it did. I know. I got one sip left.
I'll tell
I
you,
know, I
man,
just
it brings
finished
out
I don't think
more.
you know how much we drink.
It may actually pair better.
It does.
I think
does.
it probably does.
Cigar.
Yeah.
The second I retroed it, I was like, ooh, I wish I wouldn't have drank all that already.
Oh, the flavor on it, it's pulling out a lot of that red wine right now.
Yes,
And
it does.
That's what
And
That's what a dark cigar will do. Is it'll pull the dark notes
And
out
the
of the
chocolate
whiskey.
notes marry
Big time.
beautifully
Yeah.
with
Big
it.
time.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
the
a good
retro
call.
is
The chocolates on the. I mean, literally, like you had, a darker milk chocolate, and it's just coated on your palate right
See,
now.
I got almost a cocoa, not a
Yeah,
yeah.
not a,
Yeah.
like a milk chocolate, but more of like a cocoa
I
powder.
know cocoa
kinda.
powder. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm with you.
I can tell that when it gets to the final third, I probably won't retro this very much.
Yeah,
But,
Negative.
But
Ghost
retroing,
Rider.
yeah, retroing at the
gl-
beginning is
at the beginning.
is
Yeah.
awesome. It's really nice.
Might
Yeah.
light your ass up.
I'm a
Exactly.
glutton, man. I retro it all. If my eyes are watering, that means a good retro ale. So you guys are you already out? If you guys are out, then we can get into
I'll
your
move
last
on.
bottle.
Yeah, we can move on.
Yeah, we can go
We've
ahead.
got 2 more.
And if there's anything we want to come back to, we can always do that too.
And I will say, like, we're moving away from Japanese.
Okay.
And we're going to go, still stay in the East, but we're going to go with
Oh,
Paul
yeah.
John,
Nice.
which this is an Indian single malt. And this was a,
Is this the one that Jack brought?
this is what Jack left us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Jack Bettigrew,
okay.
the Hood Sommelier. Shout out, Jack. He left us when he did a tasting with us. This is the Christmas edition 2022. This is an ex-bourbon, unpeated brandy, and Oloroso peated casks. So this is like
Sounds like gold.
got a little bit of everything.
That sounds
going on.
I
amazing.
remember this. Like this, out
I
of
do
all
too.
that tasting, this was probably the one that really kind of stuck with me.
I don't know how much is left in the bottle. I hope there's enough. Oh, we got.
Oh yeah, we got
we're
tons.
good.
Yeah.
I do. I think I still have that bottle that he gave me. There's the one I loved back in the back, but I think it was like literally maybe a half an ounce left in the bottle.
Yep.
If I may have to go back and look at that. If there's more of that, we'll try that too.
Well, we've been known to kill bottles.
Tell
That
me about-
has happened.
Dude, I've been going through and not drinking anything off the bar, and I've been killing bottles like crazy the last 2 weeks.
Well, your wife appreciates that because it clears out room for inventory.
Yeah.
So, Indian single malt, Indian whiskey, I'm seeing more and more of it in
Yeah.
the Indy area now, which I think is kind of cool because it's just something different to get to try. Paul John's a big one. Amrut is a big one that I've seen. I will be completely honest, man. My knowledge of Indian single malt is like zero. But I remember trying this and thinking this was really cool, and to kind of transition away from a different country's version or spin on a single malt. You know?
Well, I saw an interesting map. You know, you see some things on Facebook, but this seemed to kind of check out, at least in my head. Half the world's population exists between China and India.
Yep.
Right? If you draw a map, and it's like something like 70% of the world contains half the population, and this small 30% of land mass contains the other half. Such a great opportunity with so many people, so many palates, so many different, areas to create some products like this. So I love seeing something like this come out of India.
Yeah.
I think that there's lots of opportunity for more to come from that region of the world.
Well, there's also rules on Indian single malt too. So
India doesn't have rules. What are you talking about?
It doesn't mean that
it's
they
not
follow them.
It's not as much.
It's
They
a
may not
billion,
follow
1.1
them.
billion
Please tell
people.
us.
So
So it
please
says
tell us what these rules
the
are.
ingredients need to be made from malted barley, water, and yeast, and nothing else. All right. Distillation is distilled in a single pot still, so they're doing the same thing that Ireland does. And maturation is aged for a minimum of 3 years and a day in oak casks.
Okay, so
So,
they don't have to be charred.
3
they don't
years
not
and
to
a
be new.
day.
It's just so pot
That's the
still.
only rule.
I was gonna say there's such
Oh,
a distinguished nose note on this that I can't pinpoint.
It's the pot still.
It's pot still,
Yeah.
and I'm being honest, man. Their cuts are like a lot of tails in this. I feel like there's definitely some.
Explain tails to people that may
So-
not know.
When you're distilling, you have different boiling points for all these different congeners that come off. There's all these different alcohol and esters that are coming off at different temperatures, right? So obviously we have the heads, which is the first things that boil off as the fermentation process is heating and the alcohol is heating. You have hearts, which should be ethanol, right?
Yeah,
right.
The gist of it. And then you have tails, which is another set of compounds that are coming off after the fact that aren't that are more palatable. The heads are not good. You don't
Right.
want those. Those
And
are dangerous.
dangerous, yeah.
They can actually
They're
kill you.
dangerous. Yeah,
Yes.
they're poison.
Make you very sick, make you blind. Don't want them. The tails, are interesting in the fact that where you make your cuts, you will pull some tails into the section of, when you're distilling to go into the final product. And like for me, I mean, the last thing to come off is furfural, and I just get this furfural. It's like it reminds me kind of a Christmas tree, kind of, not a piney note, but
Spruce.
yeah, it's just kind of a woodsy type of a evergreeny type thing going on.
Well, it
with
says
it.
the finish
Yeah.
is hazelnut, and I would totally agree with that.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
It's very good.
I still get.
I like
still
it.
get a weird like plum.
Plum flavor?
Yeah.
Yeah. It does say
So-
that it's got a mellow peat, which I think there is a
There's
slight
a little bit of
smoke.
smokiness to it. Yeah, just
It's
a little
very
bit.
subtle, but
Yeah.
you know it's there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Well,
think this is phenomenal.
And that's
It's
the thing
really,
too,
really
is like
good.
when you and I went to Boone County Jail Distillery up in Lebanon, we went up there and they were talking about, and it's a very, very small distillery. What they're putting in there, what they do is they literally have it timed on their computer on when they stop with the heads, and they harvest the hearts, and then the tails they kind of cut off as well. But then they take those two back and redistill them.
Redistill it.
Yeah.
And then you're able to pull more hearts out, and then they do it. I think they do it 3 times, if I remember right, at least twice. And but that helps them be able to get more yield out of their distillation process.
Well, some of these tails, that's what they take and add back into a previous batch.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's
Yes.
what makes sour mash
Sour
Yeah,
mash.
sour mash.
versus sweet mash.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
So when you
yes.
hear that tails or
And
you
we
hear
talked about that
sour
last time,
mash,
yeah.
we did. Yep. We're always educating you here.
we're trying.
on
we're
the Final
trying.
Third podcast.
And honestly, we're always educating ourselves too.
But
Well,
this is so rich and so
yes.
mouth coating, and then there's a little drying, but
it's not aggressive, but there is a touch.
yeah,
But it makes you want to go back and hit it again.
yeah. I think it's a solid pour.
I really liked it the first time we had it. Thanks for bringing it again, Will, because
Oh, yeah.
it's really, really good.
Yeah, it's I love Jack when he does these tastings. He really, I mean, Jack is just he's such an encyclopedia of knowledge when it comes to whiskey all across the world.
Yeah.
Not just bourbon. I mean, obviously he lives in Nebraska. He's really, well respected throughout Kentucky and the bourbon community here in the States, but just his worldly knowledge of whiskey is, I mean, I don't know a lot of people that could, I mean, I'm sure there are that, but just what Jack brings to
Yeah.
the industry is
You
pretty
got to travel
special.
a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, you
Yeah.
got to go to these
So if
places.
you haven't followed him, it's Jack Bedigue,
Bedigue,
and it's Hood Sommelier. It's on all the social media platforms. Just go out and listen to him. That guy's got a wealth of knowledge. And Will actually had invited a bunch of friends over for a tasting that Jack came and did at his house, and it was unique because he didn't bring anything that was like normal. It was all odd things that none of us have ever tried.
There was
At
no
least I don't-
bourbon, no
there was
rye.
no
not
bourbon.
one,
Yeah.
not one bourbon or rye whiskey.
And every time he had a story to tell as you're drinking it, and you're like, that's the cool thing about whiskey. It's about cigars and all that stuff. When you have a story to tell, it intensifies the experience. It's like the guy that goes to Mexico and buys a fake Cuban and smokes it on the beach, and he's like, best cigar I've ever had. I'm like, it was the experience.
Yeah.
And Jack creates an experience around the whiskey that is unmatched. So I appreciate you doing that because that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was.
Is that what you appreciate?
That's what I
That's
appreciate
what he
about that.
appreciates about you.
So, and that's I just want to not to sidetrack, but when you say that, like when you think you have a Cuban cigar, right? Mm-hmm. You're smoking it. There's it's the sight thing, right?
Yeah,
it's the
it is.
sight. You see the
Psychological,
Cuban
yeah.
band, the fake Cuban band. You think you're smoking it.
Yeah.
And you know what? If you're on the beach and you're having a great time, it's the experience, right?
Yeah,
It's,
hell yeah.
It could be you've smoked the same cigar in here, you're like, man, this cigar is terrible. But
Right.
if you're out there on the beach with a Corona and you're relaxed,
Yes.
gives a shit, man. Just
Who
enjoy
cares?
it.
Enjoy what you're doing.
I
Same
still
thing
wouldn't
with-
suggest that you buy cigars from the guy walking on the beach in Cancun.
No, no,
Don't do that.
That's probably
if
not
you're
a good
buying
idea.
Cubans in a glass top container, it's not real.
At
Just
least,
so you guys know, it's
at
not
least
real.
go to a cigar shop in Cancun and you'll be getting good fakes, right?
Yeah. So
I mean, I ended up buying a box of fakes, Partagas Series D. I was disappointed it was fake. I got a good price on them. And
Are you
Series
sure
D
it was
is,
fake?
yeah, Series
Because
D.
they don't do a lot of Partagas fakes.
They
It's usually
don't.
Cohiba.
So I cut one open after and it was cuttings.
Yeah.
Yeah, which means it was likely still from Partagas. There was likely still a Series D blend,
Might have been
but the
swept
draw
up from the floor with
or-
rat turds and
or
shit.
as much as anything, not maybe from the floor, but from the tabletop.
Yeah, I was gonna say
which
fruitcake
still would have
style.
had some nasty shit in it. You know, I mean, the flavor was good.
I'm sure
If
it
you're
was.
traveling to the Caribbean and you want to smoke a Cuban, get it in duty free.
Yeah.
That's the
yeah.
only safe bet.
It
where you're
is.
going to get a true Cuban cigar in duty free because it's highly regulated.
regulated.
And they're
You know
not
it's
cheap,
Cuban.
by the way.
They're not
They're
cheap.
not cheap. Nope.
No.
Okay,
They're
if you
expensive.
think
If
you're
you're
going to
buying-
spend $10
if you're
on a
buying-
cigar for a Cuban, you're not getting a Cuban.
Yeah. And I will tell you too, man. It's like everybody that's into cigars, everyone thinks they want Cubans. Smoke a couple, you'll realize how amazing our cigars are we get in America now.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, Nicaragua, Honduras, and Dominican, Ecuador, Peru, all those countries are making better tobacco than Cuba right
I
now.
agree.
As they say, capitalism and democracy, the worst forms of economics and government, except for all the others.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, yeah.
And capitalism will drive people to go from Cuba to Honduras,
Yep.
to Nicaragua, and they will get farms going, and they make amazing cigars. And they do every day.
If you do want to try what a Cuban used to be, come in here. I've got those Camacho pre-embargos. It's Julio Aroa. When he defected Cuba back in 61, he actually took all of his tobacco he grew in Cuba with him to Honduras and created these cigars. So it has 65 plus years aged filler, Cuban filler in there with Honduran Corojo wrapping it. It's what Cubans used to be.
Yeah.
You can't get Cubans like that now.
yeah.
Some of the Bejiques, when they get some age on them, or like the Monte Cristo number 4, I think it is. That's a great cigar, but you have to age it for a couple years after you get it because they're not good when you first get them. There's nothing wrong with those cigars. They're just not worth the money you're going to
Are
spend
you
on
telling
them.
me when people don't have an economic incentive to be better that they all get collectively worse?
Isn't that weird?
Things
I
that
would
make
have
you go,
never
"Hmm."
thought.
And when the government gets involved and screws up everything,
But they're
We're
here to
from the
help.
government. We're here to help.
here to help. Yeah, yeah. I don't think Fidel Castro ever said he was here to help.
So whoever blended this, I mean, it's Christmas edition 2022, and this is, in my opinion, Christmas in a bottle.
It is.
It
It's
is.
such they nailed it, man. They just nailed it.
It's almost got a little bit of that gingerbread kind of cookie thing
It's-
going in it
Yeah,
too.
everything-
There's
it's
a
got
lot.
a little bit of everything that
Yeah.
you're looking
Everything,
for.
yeah.
Well, I mean, if you look at the back of it, it lists
It's got a bunch
at
of
least
different
15
flavors.
different things that it tastes like.
Yeah, yeah. Dark chocolate and baked apples and peaches.
Does
and
it say
sweet
anything about
oak.
nutmeg? Because I'm getting some nutmeg right now too.
I think hazelnut was the only nut that was
Hazelnut,
in
I
there.
think,
Plum
is the only
cake.
nut on there.
Orange,
Orange.
Yeah.
I definitely get a little bit
light
of
pepper
orange.
light pepper spice.
It's almost like
butterscotch.
a mulled wine in whiskey form.
It kind of is.
Yeah.
That's actually a good call.
Yeah.
out.
Call.
Yeah. God, I love mulled wine.
Yeah, that mulled wine at the Chris Kendall Mart over
I
in.
didn't get any there.
Oh man,
Yeah.
that's fun. That was fun.
Lisa and I actually discovered mulled wine. We were up at 2E's winery up in, I don't know, somewhere around Fort Wayne, west of Fort Wayne, whatever. And they had mulled wine on there. And we're like, what the hell's that? You know, warm wine with all this stuff in it. And we got them like, oh, this is good. We got to
really
do this
good.
at home.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's
Like,
actually
yeah,
not hard to do. You don't have to have the highest end wine.
No,
You're
no.
adding a lot of stuff to it to make it hot and flavorful, and you add cinnamon sticks and oranges and all the different
Well,
fruits
that's
and
like
stuff in
having
it.
what's the wine drink in the summer? The lots-
Sangria.
Sangria.
It's
yeah.
kind of like a warm sangria, but,
exactly.
but deeper
different
and richer.
flavors. Yeah, different flavor
You're
profile.
using more of a sweet wine with that. We're using a dry wine with mulled wine.
Yep. Yep. But
So
good stuff.
we should talk. You do have a very nice American single malt on the shelf here at Final Third.
What's that?
That would be the Parker's Heritage.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh yeah,
That is a phenomenal American
Yes.
single malt.
that's
and
very good.
That is the Parker's Heritage release from 2024. So
Get in
pretty
here
cool.
and get some because that is delicious. And I will say, of all the Parker's Heritages, and I've not had a lot of them. I know you guys have had a lot more than I have. They've all been fantastic.
Yeah.
And this one's the one that's probably more unique of any than they've done. It's a single malt that was finished in cognac barrels. It has so much flavor and so much, and I do love cognac and Armagnac finishes. They're just really good. But yeah, it's really
an
good.
Excellent finished single malt to pair with a cigar. I mean, couldn't get any better. I mean, it will pair with a lot of cigars.
I can't tell how much I have up there, but if I have enough, maybe we'll do that to finish off.
Yeah, the cool thing too, like at Heaven
I think we
Hill
still have
now-
an American. You still have an American single malt.
Oh, yeah,
don't
one
you?
left.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
thought
Oh, you
so.
do?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So we don't need to hit that.
That
but,
might be enough.
The
Ish.
at
It
Heaven,
might be
well,
enough.
at Heaven Hill now, for their select stock, they're playing around with single malts quite a bit.
Yes, they are.
So if you go into the distillery and look, they have a plethora of Heaven Hill select stocks now that are single malts finished. So, and I should have brought it in. I didn't even think about it, but I have one at home that's finished in a mezcal barrel.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
you've
And
talked
we've
about that
talked
before.
about
Yeah.
that because I'm like, oh, let me try this. It's going to be smoky. Guess what? It's not at all smoky.
Oh,
And,
wow.
You know, I'm like my resident tequila expert here. He will tell me, hey, Will, not all mezcal smoky.
Correct.
Yeah, so-
Yeah. Find the Oaxacan.
Some of the best
Yeah, Oaxacan
mezcals
stuff.
are a little bit more, and I do like a little smoke in a mezcal, but I want the balance of the sweet and smoke.
Yep.
Yeah.
There
yeah.
are some mezcals that are just like over smoked.
There's some that have zero,
There's some that have zero,
which is bizarre
Now-
because you taste it and you're like smoke, 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 and you're trying to find it, and it's just not there.
Now, what's really unique about that is you could use a smoky mezcal in an old fashioned
Yep.
and make a smoky old fashioned without even using smoke, and it actually turns out really
holds
good.
up, yeah.
Really
I'd like
good.
to have a Bloody Maria with mezcal.
That would be good.
Yeah,
That would
because
be
I think
good.
the
Oh,
smoke
throw
with the
some-
tomato and the pepper
Get
and
some
the
smoked
Worcestershire.
bacon thrown in there.
Oh, yeah, with the maple coating on it.
Goddamn fat guys. When,
I know. We hadn't talked about food yet, but yeah, shit.
I'm
Guess
hungry.
it's about time.
I'm hungry.
As much as I love this is so viscous and so oily.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
So
I was to say, it is actually like I kind of wanted a smaller pour than what I poured
yeah,
myself.
I poured too much.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
it's-
did too, but I'm not.
dumping
I'm not.
it.
No, I'm not.
I'm not
dumping
dumping it, but oops.
I
yeah.
can't.
So talking about food, we are talking about doing a chili cook-off. I think we kind of talked about maybe doing it for St. Patty's Day, maybe.
Yeah.
No, and I thought it was
I think
Super
Lisa
Bowl.
was trying to go
Or
a
Super
little
Bowl,
earlier than that.
whatever. We'll figure it out, but we'll be
End
posting
of
it
January,
out.
maybe early February.
But we're gonna do like a chili cook-off. So if you want to, make a crock pot of chili and bring it in, and we'll
I have
let
one
everybody
goal,
guess.
one goal only, and that is to defeat Chris Gordon.
Yes.
As long as I finish,
Yes.
as long
For
as
chili?
I finish ahead of Chris.
For chili.
I don't know. I think
now-
that should be the smoker cook-off later when we
That's-
do like smoked wings or.
That's what I was
brisket
gonna say.
later.
Is then we get into like late spring, early summer. We're gonna do a smoked meat cook-off. So wings, brisket, pulled pork, whatever you want to
I
make.
don't smoke any meat, but what I will do is I will bring the jalapeno mac and cheese.
All right.
All right.
As a
That's
side.
Do
great
the side.
Yeah.
Do the
It's-
side.
Yeah, I make killer.
I will say.
and cheese.
I will say. I will be eating a absolute metric shit ton of Will and Chris's wings to figure out
Oh,
who's
no
better.
Yep.
No, okay.
I've never had better wings
Well, I'll
than
get my
what they
brother-in-law
make.
Haas. Maybe I can
Oh, yeah,
get
get
him
Haas on
to
the line.
Oh,
pony up
Haas
and
can
yeah.
throw it down, man.
So if you
Yeah,
guys
maybe
are-
I'll get him to throw one of them Australian gold
So if
wagyu
you guys are
briskets out
interested
there.
in doing that, please
That-
reach
I'm
out
not-
to
if,
us.
If he's doing brisket, I'm out on that. I know my limitations, and I know when I'm not in a fair fight.
Now, if it was my idea, which it is my place, I should be able to do this. I would like to do a crawfish boil. Ooh,
Hell yes.
We'll get your.
We'll get Stephanie.
Stephanie.
We'll get
or
Stephanie and
yeah,
Josh.
Stephanie and Josh.
Yeah, yeah.
She is a Louisiana girl,
She is.
and
Through
she
and
knows what
through.
the hell she's doing with some crawfish. And
Man.
man, that was one of the best. Other than being in Louisiana, in the experience, the whole thing. That was one of the best crawfish boils I've ever
Well,
had.
doing it at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, it just
God.
doesn't hurt
Yeah.
your feelings at all. You're like, oh, okay.
There's so. I mean, it's such an art. It really
is.
is.
It
and I
is.
mean, you think, or shrimp. Like if you're doing a shrimp boil, throw them in some water, some potatoes, some lemons. and some crab boil. No, there's a way to do it. There's a way to soak it. There's timing on how you put it in that makes all the difference.
Well, I mean, just like what she was doing, she's sitting there with she had like 25 pounds, 30 pounds,
30
pounds, and she's literally picking out the dead ones because you don't put dead ones
don't
in the
want 'em
water.
in there.
That's right.
No.
You can't just dump the whole thing right
No.
in.
So that's the biggest key. And the good thing was that pack she got was only had maybe
A dozen.
a tenth, maybe not even that much. Yeah,
Yeah.
probably a dozen that were dead.
Yeah.
The rest of them were just moving around big. Oh,
Yeah.
Shout out to old 007 Brandon Whistler that just commented, "Smoked wings, I'm in."
all
Yeah,
right.
hell yeah.
Now, I will tell you right now, I've never had his smoked wings, but his freaking candy bacon is some of the best candy bacon I've ever had in my life. Oh my
I
God!
like
So
that.
Brandon, I need some candy bacon, buddy.
If we do the crawfish boil, we have to pair it with JT Millick.
Oh,
gotta get
yeah.
some JT
Yeah,
Millick.
Oh yeah, Louisiana,
absolutely.
hell yeah.
I mean, second largest
That's
crawfish
the
producer
rice
in
whiskey.
Louisiana.
Yep.
Yeah. We
Either,
gotta-
Yeah,
either
this
that
is
or
good.
get some Turbo Dog, a Abita
Yeah,
beer.
some Abita. Yeah, I love it. Some Purple Haze.
Purple Haze, there you go.
All right, guys. So let's talk some sports.
All right.
It's a big weekend. Obviously we just had the college football playoffs, so we got
Still happening.
it's still happening.
One more
We got
game.
Notre Dame and Ohio State, a Midwest
Rocking
championship.
it, man. Love it.
I even as a Michigan guy, right?
love
You
it.
still got to appreciate the Midwest factor
I
here.
love
kinda
it.
cool.
You'd think it was
I'm-
basketball season,
Hey,
not football season.
I know. Well, SEC can kiss our asses, all right?
SEC's
Collectively.
crushing it in basketball
Alabama,
right now.
you can roll right up and get the hell out of here, right?
Roll
Gone.
So-
You hear that, Janelle?
Yep.
No roll tide this year.
No, Janelle's not listening to this.
No, she's not. She
No.
never
Yeah,
listens.
Lori Whistler. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry, Lori. Sorry, Lori.
That's right. This is going to be either Ohio or Indiana. That's it. And I will
Yeah.
call out all those haters saying, you didn't belong in the playoffs.
Yeah.
They lost to two teams this year. Which two teams?
In the
The
national
national
championship.
championship teams.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
come on. How great is that? That just turned out so
And
awesome.
Rob and I were looking at the line yesterday, 9.5.
Yeah.
I'm
Ohio
Really?
State's favorite, which I was honestly shocked. And if I was Notre Dame, I'd be fucking
Oh,
disrespected.
I'd be so
yeah.
upset.
So
yeah.
I see them coming out. It's not going to be a 9.5 spread. I don't see it.
No, I don't
I
think so
don't
at all.
either. I sure hope not. I mean, hope it's a great game. There's been
I think
some
Notre
great
Dame's been
games.
improving at all the right times.
Yeah.
And sometimes it is all about just
I mean, hell,
that
look
motion's
at
going.
Texas, man. Texas was literally on the 1 yard line to tie that game up, and then they turned the ball over for an 88-yard return. That was a tie game going to overtime.
Both Notre Dame and Ohio State's games that got them here, their defense won the game for them
Exactly.
on both games. So
Yeah.
it's going to come down to how defense plays, who controls the line of scrimmage. Whoever controls the line of scrimmage going to
Yeah.
win this game.
And
whoever
whoever
has
gets-
the ball in their hands last may win
and
the game.
turnovers will be probably the deciding factor.
Speaking
Yeah.
of defensive games, I don't know if anybody caught the Chargers-Houston game last night.
It was a great game.
Yeah.
They scored more on defense than they did on
Yeah,
offense.
yeah, which
Yeah.
was good. I mean, because Stroud, he's
Yeah.
still second year. He's still finding his way in clutch games, but I thought Stroud played well. I thought he did well. Excited. I don't even know what the score is on this game. Every time I look, there's
13-7 is what I see.
Okay,
right now.
okay. So did Denver still up?
No, the Bills.
Oh, Bills went up now. Okay.
Baltimore.
Which, by the way, I don't know what the line was to start this game, but I would have taken the Bills plus the points.
Yeah.
all
I
day
think that was
long.
about a 9.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just
Well, and
I have
then-
no belief that Broncos have a chance against the Bills. I think the Bills are going to be the Super Bowl winners.
Well, and this week, the Indy Ignite had their first game.
Yeah,
So
before we
Indy-
get into NFL, let's talk about
Yeah,
that.
Indy Ignite is the professional volleyball team that's now at the Fishers Event Center.
They sold out.
They sold out and
For
they
professional women's
killed it.
volleyball,
They
which is
did
awesome.
great. We were watching part of the game here. Did great. Now we just got to get our fuel boys to get some wins going. We got to get back in there.
You know, I
'cause-
will call this out. They played Wheeling
Yeah.
on Wednesday.
Right.
Yep.
And Janelle and I were there, and they won.
They
and
won.
Wheeling is the number 2 team in the league.
And it wasn't close.
And honestly,
It's 5-2 or whatever,
Yeah, I think it's 4-2. I think we got an
4-2,
open
okay,
netter.
okay.
Yeah, and it's 4-2. I got to say that I think we're Central Division. It's got to be one of the top because
Yeah.
Toledo's number 1 in the league. We're trying to push up there. The Heartlanders are just beating the crap out of us.
we have a
which
hard
sucks.
time with the Heartlanders.
By the way, former Central Division Wheeling Nailers now in the East. They got
Yeah.
moved because the Bloomington Bison
yeah.
came in, but they're doing a great job. It's the funniest damn thing. These two guys sit on the bench right in front of us.
Oh, that was the best. Oh, yeah, talk about this.
Last name Bull, and then the other last name Seaman.
And guess
Bull
who?
Seaman.
And guess who they play for? The Nailers.
The Nailers. Oh, you can imagine the chirping I was giving those boys.
You can't write that shit.
Oh man, I was.
And they had to sit next to each other.
Oh, and Seaman gets a penalty, right, for I forget what it was, and I'm like, yeah, Seaman, go come in the box, you'll enjoy it in there.
Did you get your chirper guy?
No, he wasn't
he
there.
wasn't there.
Oh, good,
No.
good.
He-
good.
I'm kind of hoping he moved seats. He was talking
yeah,
to his
I hope
ticket
so.
guy, so yeah,
He may be gone.
Jerk.
old bastard can kiss my ass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definite
Yeah.
shout out to the ticket guys at the Fishers Event Center. If you email them and talk to them, they are phenomenal at getting you whatever you want.
They take care of you.
They
And
are
they
incredible.
definitely take
That's
care of
such
you.
a
They
great
are
call.
incredible.
My man Gavin, yep, he's awesome. He always takes care of me. We actually just had I said, hey, can you get me 2 tickets for the Wednesday game, because Mike and Jen ended up going with us.
Yep.
And no Ticketmaster fees, $2 off the Ticketmaster price per ticket, and
Nice.
no fees. So it was like $15-20 less per ticket, just getting it real quick. He's like, yep, no, this is 3 hours before the game.
So
Yeah.
I do want to make a PSA regarding parking.
Oh yeah, pay
Pay
Yes.
ahead, because
Yeah.
I just got 2 tickets in the mail and I'm getting
Yeah.
royally effed.
26
Royally
bucks.
effed. No.
No, it's 52
I'm getting 52
because they catch you going in and out. But if you
Yeah.
call them, they will actually bring it back to the 26.
The first game is wrong because I know I scanned in. The second game, I'm 50-50 on if I actually
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
So I'm willing to eat that one.
Well, I
but
purposely didn't
I
pay
know
my
I paid
ticket
the first one.
when I was there because I wanted to see if they were charging the same when they sent
Same
the tickets.
price.
Yeah, because they said
But
they
it was,
were.
but we ended up getting the same thing,
Oh,
52
okay.
bucks. And she called.
Dang.
She's like, "We were there one time. Oh, I'm sorry, that was a mistake. It should be 26." I'm like, "Okay, that's still a lot of money." So
Yeah.
if you are there and you get your little ticket on the window, or if you see the scanner in the parking
The
lot,
QR code in the
scan
parking
it,
lot.
pay it. It's
Pay it.
$10.50.
Pay it.
Guess what it was at the fairgrounds? It was $10.
Yeah.
It's not
It's not- it's
anymore.
no
It's
different.
fine.
Yep.
And once you get the app installed one time, you're done.
good.
You're good.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
got your card tied to it. It's fine.
Yeah.
And then you're going to go to concerts and other things there, the Ignite or
So
Cirque du Soleil or
we've got
whatever.
tickets to a
coming on.
comedy show there for Tom Cigar.
Oh, right, right, yeah.
You got
yeah.
the Fisher's Freight coming up here this summer.
Oh,
and
yeah. I'm excited about that.
That's
I got
gonna be
tickets
fun.
for that.
I'm
so.
gonna get some. I'm gonna
Yeah.
get some.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
want to
yeah.
too.
So
Yeah.
now we're on NFL. Right, we've had this going. We already talked a little bit about the Texans, Chargers. Definitely the Bills.
How are the
I just
Bears
don't see
doing?
them.
Oh, never
Oh,
mind.
wait.
Yeah,
They're
who?
not. Yeah.
Oh, every other team in the NFC North made it.
So let's see. We got 2 other games today. We got the Packers, Eagles. If I had to pick, I'm taking the Eagles.
Eagles.
They're 5.5 point favorites.
It's hard to count the
That's
Packers
not
out
enough.
sometimes,
It's,
but
I get it,
do think
but
the Eagles
you know,
are better.
I just think the Eagles are going to take that by more than 5.5. I don't see that falling to a 3-point
What's
game.
the late game?
Looks like we got Commanders and Buccaneers.
Yeah, and
The who?
Yeah, the Redskins.
oh,
right?
so
We all know.
I'll tell you, man, the Commanders actually had a hell of a season.
I honestly like Tampa. I think Tampa's going to make a deep run here.
I kinda
That's
feel like
my-
it too.
That's my prediction. The dark horse in this playoff run. is
Tampa's
Tampa
favored
for me.
by
Yeah.
3.
Are they?
Yeah.
I just have a hard time caring about
I like
Any
how
of
they're
that.
playing.
pro football right now.
Yeah, no, I get it. Hey, we'll come around to how bad the Avalanche are playing in a second.
I like how
We're not in the second half yet, and we're still
That's true.
We're,
We're not
still in the
past
top
the-
3, so
not
it's all
past the
good.
All-Star
It's
break.
all good, and we're not healthy yet. We're getting there.
Yeah. Hockey is like baseball
Hey.
in that respect. You got to wait till after the All-Star break.
Yep. The other thing too, the Pacers have come on. The Pacers
5-0
are
this
crushing
year.
it right
Yeah,
now.
this calendar year.
So they've
we
actually
need to get a
moved back
pour
up.
going.
Oh yeah, let's do another
I
pour.
think we've had this.
Yeah, this was another one that Jack had that I thought we'd just finish off with an American single malt. This is Westward whiskey out of Oregon. Yeah.
I think this is one we all loved, if I remember
They
right.
are OGs of American single malts. They've been doing it a long time. They do a good job. This is 90 proof. This doesn't really give a whole lot of details about aging or anything like that.
I believe it's got whiskey in the bottle, but that's good.
It
But
does
yeah.
look like whiskey.
Yeah.
But this is one of the longest standing American single malt companies, I think.
Where are they located?
They're in
Oregon.
Oregon.
Oregon. Okay.
Probably Portland, I'm guessing.
Thanks,
you know
buddy.
more?
Whatever. I don't need to take much. Thank you. I gotta work at some point.
Shout out to Portland. Good luck to you.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, that's another good call.
Kill it.
You know, shout out to the guys out in freaking California, man. They are getting crushed by those wildfires. There's some like areas of California that are iconic areas that are just completely gone.
Palisades and Malibu.
And man, it's brutal. It's very.
We'll
brutal.
finish that, Will. Somebody, we'll get that killed for you. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and look, I understand we can all have political opinions. We can all have opinions about, you know, famous people and whatever. Don't be that asshole.
No.
Don't be that one that goes out there and makes comments. People are losing their homes. I don't care if it's a multi-million-dollar home. I don't care if it's you're homeless and you lost the place that you normally sleep on the street.
Right.
Okay? This is bad. This is bad
it's
stuff.
Terrible.
You know, I have my thoughts on how you do forest management, and I know for a fact that California has done very little in the last 10 to 15 years to manage that environment. And I understand we want to protect the environment. Nobody's here to like pollute and do bad things.
Yeah.
There's got to be a balance, right?
Except for China. China's all about
right.
that.
China doesn't give a shit. We know that. But there does have to be a balance. And so I hope that, you know, people at least, I don't care about the responsibility, and the elections happen, but hopefully they learn some lessons about being able to clean up some of this area where it's just super, super hazardous. I've spent plenty of time out in California for work, and you can see it out there. And if they don't clean some of that underbrush, those fires are going to happen. I don't care about climate change or anything. That's just
It's gonna happen.
It's just fuel,
And it's
right?
always happened out
gonna,
there. It's always
it
happened.
has.
Yeah.
So you know, don't be the jerk that's making bad comments. Those people, I don't care who you are. We wish nothing but the best, and our thoughts and prayers definitely go out to all those folks out there that are struggling.
On the flip side of that too, the one thing that does irritate me, and I'm really happy to see that the government is sending some money out there to help them out. But what the hell about North Carolina?
Yeah.
They got nothing from the government. I'm like, it is so one-sided, and it's very irritating to me that our government doesn't have money to take care of its own people, but we're sending shit tons of money overseas. I get it. We're trying to be that for everybody. Take care of our people too.
Yeah,
we got to take care of our people here.
And fortunately, we do live in a great country where people take care of people.
Yeah, we
right?
do.
I know that. I mean, you think of the End of Watch legacy that the Final Third supports, that we all support, and trying to make sure that fallen officers are taken care of, their families are taken care
Shout out
of.
to
Dirk
Yeah.
and the amazing job that he does, that him and his wife do with their End of Watch legacy fund.
And that's
you know,
a good
it's-
call too, because here in the probably next week, if you want to support End of Watch and get an amazing bottle, Dirk's gonna be putting out the
Jack
pick that he
Daniels.
and I did, which is the Jack Daniels Barrel Proof Rye pick.
It's phenomenal.
It's selling crazy. We're into our second case in a week, and it's really, really good. But
I
you
think
can
I
buy a
helped with
bottle
lot
through
of that
him.
first one.
The good thing about it is too, you know, all the proceeds that he makes on top of what the actual cost of the bottle was goes directly to fallen officers' families. So you can actually help out somebody and get a great bottle and double up.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah, sorry.
New Jersey,
I
Mike, I don't know if you're still on, but
You should
if
get a bottle.
if you look up Into Watch Legacy and you buy a bottle, I'll make sure that you get it.
Yeah.
That you get it from the Final Third.
Yeah.
I'll get
We're
that
a
to
pickup
you.
point here too. So if any of
Well,
you
he's
guys
in New
are-
Jersey, so
I
he's
know.
not going to drive out here
I
to
know,
pick
but
it
you
up.
take
But
care of
I'll
him.
take care of that.
But if any of you guys are out there and you're listening right now and you want to get in on it, you know, email or respond messaging to End of Watch Legacy Fund or Indiana Bourbon. That's Dirk. Both of them are Dirk. Let him know you want to pick a bottle up here, and he will take care of you, and we'll have it here for you. So
But they will sell out.
they will sell
It
out
will be gone
fast.
probably
quick.
same day.
Yeah.
Jack Barrel picks always sell out
and
fast.
that rye whiskey is so damn
Oh, yeah.
good.
That may be the only rye single barrel
It
pick
was.
that came to Indiana.
This year, or
2024,
2024, it was the
2024,
only one in
yeah.
Indiana.
yeah, and it's really, really good.
It's good.
That's the only thing I
it's
bought in the
good.
last couple of weeks.
It's
Good. Yeah, the Chris Gordon
Chris
seal
Gordon
of,
seal of approval.
And it's and a Sazerac, which hey, if you want to spend the money on it, it's freaking phenomenal.
Yeah.
It's not even that expensive. You come in here and
It's
you get that Sazerac with the.
I mean, honestly, it's
The single
not.
barrel.
It's not any more expensive than the Seagrass Sazerac.
There you go.
I mean, look, if you want to drink Pappy and Coke, go for it. I don't give
Oh,
a shit.
fuck yeah!
Exactly.
Let's go.
Yeah. If you want to
what
make
it's
bourbon
for.
balls out of George T. Stagg, check out our short. Like, subscribe, all that stuff.
You wanna
Smash
do-
that button.
You want to do Pappy 23 Jello shots? You go.
Are you throwing up the
you do you.
subscribe on the live there? There it is.
Nice, there we
Smash
go.
that button and subscribe.
Hey, Will,
Yeah.
what do you think of the Westward? Like,
Dude? God.
I'm-
Yeah,
I'm
you're
just
the only
curious.
one that hasn't tried this yet.
Oh, I've been drinking it. Mine's almost gone.
I know. No, I'm saying we
I haven't even
tried it
taken a
before.
drink yet. What do you think of it, Heine?
We had it
You like
before,
that?
so
You must like it. You're drinking it.
Oh yeah. It's definitely got a different. The complexity of the nose compared to everything we've already tried is night and day difference. There's so much going on with the floral on this.
Yeah.
this one to me, I get a little bit of that almost like a confectionery caramel, if that makes sense,
On the palate?
on the palate.
Yeah.
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 You know, it does make me wonder when we just had the Indian whiskey. I mean, look, you're putting this stuff in barrels. The barrels, the liquid's going into it's going out of it. They are liquid tight. That doesn't mean that they're completely airtight per se, right? I mean, the environment's going to have an impact, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, the Oceans bourbon, Jefferson's Oceans, they send it on the boat and you get salt notes out of it.
Yeah.
We talked about it. I do think that there is something to be said about where these things mature.
100%.
I mean, I remember when we first tasted that Indian whiskey that we all kind of picked out a cardamom note out of it.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
That there was just kind of these Indian spices, and I still think that there are some of those there in that whiskey. And I think that it's really hard, there's something to be said about the American bourbon that we're all used to drinking and what it is that's in the air across the country that gives some of those flavor notes.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just going to be regional, right? You're going to get things out of cognac. There's a reason that cognac is cognac because it's from Cognac, France.
Yes.
That the particular wine and the region and the stuff that goes into it makes
Yeah.
a difference. It absolutely does. And I think that this gets some really interesting American bourbon style notes to it without being American bourbon.
Yeah,
We are,
yeah.
at Indiana Small Batch, we're working on bringing in a nice American single malt line. I don't want to name it yet until the ink's dried, but it's
Heard it first here.
We are.
You will hear it first here.
You will hear it first here, absolutely. But it's close. But I'm really excited for this category.
Yeah.
I think there is a crossover. I think
Yeah.
market for bourbon drinkers and whiskey drinkers that can go to an American single malt. Is it going to hit everybody? No, of course not. It's very different.
Nothing's
right?
going to hit everybody.
But
But the
this
cool
is
thing
not
is,
Scotch, man. This
Well,
is
and you
not-
don't have to go to Campfire,
Yeah.
right? You don't have to go to High
Right.
West Campfire,
Right.
which is good. It's
Some-
unique and different. And
some years are good.
right.
Some years are
It's-
better than
it's
others.
unique, but lots
Yeah.
of people will say, oh, if you're a bourbon drinker, then this is, how to get into Scotch. If you're a Scotch drinker, this is how to get into bourbon. There's other ways. And I think
Yeah.
these single malts are a great way to kind of expand your
yeah.
palate across the board with whiskey because
think-
they're
It's
so
a very good introductory.
yeah, they're
I
just
do
they're,
feel
they
like-
got all the flavor profiles.
I do feel like an educated bourbon lover, someone that's been in it for a while, in the game for a while, I feel like we have to kind of redefine ourselves. We have to say we're whiskey lovers. And we have to try all the different expressions because everything's a little bit different. If you love bourbon, try different things because you might find out you love some single malt, you like
Yep.
some Japanese or whatever. Try it all because there's so much out there. Everyone's making it. There's a reason why it sells because obviously in different regions everyone buys different things. But there's so much good whiskey all around the world. You gotta just get out there and try it.
You nailed it in that it expands your palate.
It does.
So that you can then find some of these subtle notes in bourbon that you would normally not know if you had not drank this Japanese whiskey, which bombs you with floral and bombs you with some of these very nice fruit notes. It's so much easier to pick it out in bourbon when you've had it in Japanese whiskey or in other single malts and you can
Yeah.
pull it. It just makes you more well-rounded as a whiskey person.
Well, and I could see you
Taster.
coming off of some of these Japanese whiskeys and doing it with the Four Roses.
Yeah.
And you're
Absolutely.
like, oh my God, it intensifies the floral notes. And all of a sudden you're realizing, oh, that's why I get this out of Four Roses.
Yep.
And that's why Four Roses is different than Woodford or Heaven Hill or
Heaven Hill,
Buffalo
yeah.
Trace. It's like they're all so different. But I'm super excited because I love trying. You know, I think we all got kind of stuck in the high proof bourbon world for a long time.
Yep.
I'm so excited to try 80, 90, 100 proof different whiskeys from around the world because, I mean, it's going to make us better tasters along the way, but it's also going to make us more educated on, you know, pairings. Like that Connecticut, I don't think would have held up to the Jack Daniel's Rye or
anything
Heaven
barrel
Hill
strength,
Bottle
no,
and Bond. It might have been fine with it, but to be the true pairing, honestly, some of that floral has to come through.
Yep. And you know, I want to hit a really important point here when it comes to learning how to taste things. You don't have to try and be an expert, right? You don't have to be the next ASCOT. We love you, Will, and we're
love
so
you, Will.
proud of you
Yeah.
and the work that you've done because it's really hard work. That is not easy to do.
Rob is going to learn how to tie
But
an
here's
ascot.
what it really
Oh, I am
comes down
learning to tie,
to
yes.
is it comes down to when you're hanging out with your friends, you're hanging out with your buddies. It's fun to talk about.
It is.
It's fun to explore. It's just, you know, you do blinds and it's not for the sake of, you know, trying to find out if you've got the better palate. It's not
Yeah.
it. It's about something that's enjoyable to hang out with your friends, your family, make new friends, to your point.
Yeah.
And just be able to have some fun,
Yeah.
right? I mean, this is something that I think is missed a little bit, and sometimes some people look at it and go, "Yeah, I'm just into is it good or not," and that's
Yeah.
okay. There is nothing wrong with that,
Nope.
right? If you enjoy this experience, then do it. You know,
Yeah.
I just got to rattle in my head a little bit that we should do a pancake breakfast show so that we can teach Will about class A through D syrup,
maple syrup.
maple syrup.
I'm all for
Can we
that.
do
I'm all
waffles?
for
I like
pancake
waffles.
bread.
Waffles
more.
are fine.
Okay,
We can
Belgian
do,
waffles.
you know what? We'll do
Waffles
waffles
and
and
chicken.
pancake. We'll do waffles, pancakes. We'll
And
do
chicken.
Oh,
you
chicken and
You get
waffles,
your
yeah.
grandma's chicken recipe, fried chicken
man.
Chicken waffles.
recipe.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'll make my cinnamon roll bacon twist.
Oh yeah. See, now we're talking. This sounds like a good show
We'll
that we
get
could put
Brandon on
together.
the show. He can bring his candy
We'll
bacon.
do it as a breakfast,
yeah.
so we can do some breakfast
Whistler's
cocktails.
Whistler's
we can,
watching
Whistler,
right
come
now.
on, buddy. You're
yeah,
coming.
so-
You're coming.
So,
Candy
yeah,
bacon,
it's-
buddy.
And it's funny enough. My grandmother, God bless her, I love her so much. She actually got me a bottle of bourbon barrel maple syrup.
Oh,
Where they
yeah.
took
Yes.
maple
syrup
syrup
and
and
soak it
they
in bourbon
aged it
barrels.
in bourbon barrels, and it's expensive, but it's
Yeah.
damn good.
It's awesome.
I'll tell
So,
you, on
yeah,
a
we'll
different,
definitely have to do
totally
that.
different note, have you ever, you guys all know Founders Brewery up in Michigan?
Yep.
Yeah.
They have their CBS, which is the Canadian Breakfast Stout. Super amazing. That Canadian Breakfast Stout is a stout finished in a maple barrel.
Maple syrup
So
barrel, yeah.
maple
Syrup
syrup
barrel,
barrel.
yeah.
So good. They actually take those barrels that had maple syrup in them first, then Canadian Breakfast Stout, and then they put hot sauce in them. And it's called Bliss. You can buy it at Meijer around here. Dude, it's the best hot sauce you'll ever have. And it has all those notes in it all across the board. It's like, I love seeing more people doing the barrel aging stuff. You know, you're seeing a lot more beers out there that are doing the aging in a ex-bourbon barrel or an ex-wine barrel and stuff. It's fun. We're in a fun time right now. There's a lot of great stuff to try.
I think we need to start getting some shows planned out where we do some food pairings in
yes.
here and also
Mystery
I think
meat, right? We can do rabbits.
oh hey no wild game shows I am all of
goose
them.
breast, baby.
I cook goose very well. I'm just gonna say I
I
do
got
a
a
great
shit
job.
metric ton that JC gave
So
me.
JC,
yeah?
JC,
Oh,
we
man.
need to probably get some more of that, and we'll do a show. And we'll have JC on here talking about his hunting trips.
My
I think
nephews
great.
I would
killed
love
some,
that.
some goose and
waterfowl
he could not
sausage you
cook
have
it
in
for
here
anything.
the Fourth or the
Yeah,
New Year's.
his duck and goose sausage
Duck
and
is
goose
sausage.
great.
Oh
Yeah.
man, that sausage was amazing. Yeah.
I killed the entire freaking tube of that in like 2
Man,
days.
quick shout out!
Oh,
Quick
yeah.
shout out to my nephew Cole. Came over at 12:30 in the morning during that snowstorm we had with his skid steer and cleared off my driveway. Thanks, Cole.
Oh,
I
good job, buddy.
appreciate that.
Good job.
He's turning 18 in March, and that kid is just a worker.
That's
love
awesome.
It, love it.
While
so
we're doing
appreciate it.
shout outs,
Yeah.
Dr. Scott,
Oh,
happy birthday,
man.
buddy.
Hey, I don't know why we didn't bring this up earlier, but
Hey.
yep, Doc, it's your birthday. Don't know why you're not in here having a cigar.
Yeah,
Yeah.
screw you, buddy.
Yeah, he's probably out with his family and doing all the family
blah,
stuff.
blah,
And shout out
blah.
to Scott. The pin screwed me on another bet.
Yeah.
Dude,
Well,
as
it
soon as you
was,
texted about that, I was like, you should know better.
What was
You
it?
don't
I should
bet on
know
the
better.
pins.
Wes and his wife went to the Pins game.
Oh, did
I
they?
saw that on social media somewhere.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
Weston Shannon.
She
yeah.
surprised him for
nice.
That's very
for
cool.
the Pins game.
That's very
The
cool.
two other loser Pins fans that come in here.
God dang it. God dang it.
Pins fans.
Somebody's got to pull for him.
Hey,
F
Yeah.
the Pins.
they're winning, though.
yeah, they
Avalanche
are.
are winning like 1-3 right now.
But the Pins are so old, they'll get to the playoffs. And be
Grandpa
like,
Sid
"Oh,
will
I'm so
have his
tired."
walker out there on the ice.
Right. All right. Well, I think we've probably
we're
done about
done.
enough today. Will, thanks for bringing in some of the whiskeys.
Absolutely.
Rob, all this Japanese stuff. Shout out to Tara,
Tara,
for.
thank you.
She didn't even know she was contributing to the show today. So
Guitar.
This was
Yep,
good.
thank you for
I
that.
enjoyed this.
Yep, this was a great show. Definitely, I think the lesson to be learned here is bourbon is awesome, but there's so much more out there.
Yeah.
Go out there, try it with your friends, get a couple bottles, and
I would say probably almost every country in the world's making whiskey at some point. Just try them.
hey, we will do a Scotch show at some point. I
Absolutely.
don't
We
think
need
we've
to.
done, but we will. And Scotch is, boy, that's a really, really. We'll just have to like pick one from each of the four regions and
agree.
go
Yeah,
with
yeah,
that. I
yeah.
think we'll just have to pick a representative of each region.
God, I wish I still had some of the Octomore. We could have done that as the Isla.
Oh man.
Although,
that's-
I mean, you got to go with a Lefroy or Ardbeg for the Isla.
yeah, you really do.
They're more traditional.
Yeah.
So, all right, we'll get into that next
All
time.
right. Well, until next time, Rob, where can they find you?
Yeah, everywhere. Final Third Cigar.
You can find me at Cocky Wolverine.
You can find me at Scotty D Smokes. I'll work on that Instagram thing. That's for the new kids. I don't know how to do that shit, but I'll
Yeah,
figure that
it is
out.
what it is.
I'm trying.
Moto_Will.
Yeah, and both are, Mike's not
Both are
here today.
visuals.
But both are
Visuals.
visuals.
Spencer Lees.
Spencer Lees. Yeah.
Both are visuals, not as much anymore because Mike officially started his job at the Pacers.
He's crushing it.
He is. Congratulations.
crushing it.
We're so excited for our producer.
We
Yeah.
are.
Mr. Mike both are now working for the Indiana Pacers.
Yes.
That's crazy.
And
Big
they're-
time.
and I'm saying it right now. Mike's the reason why they're on a winning streak.
That's it.
Yep.
January 1, he started his job, and guess what? They're 5-0.
Okay.
Just saying, it's Mike.
Simon Brothers.
Yeah.
You know who
Pay
needs.
attention.
You
He needs
know
a
who
raise.
needs a raise.
Mike needs a
already.
raise.
Yep.
Give him a
All
raise.
right, all right. Well, this is it for the Final Third Cigar and
Yeah.
Whiskey Lounge and the Final Third podcast. Cheers, everybody.
Yeah, cheers, guys. Thanks for listening in.
Bye, Mom. Peace.
Yeah, cheese.